Closed last night, or we discussed yesterday, a bumper sticker that I saw driving down here. And the bumper sticker said, man thinks, God knows. And then someone had bought a second copy of the bumper sticker and cut it apart and reversed it and put it under it. So it said, man thinks, God knows, man thinks. Now, it seemed to me there was a lot going on in what was attempting to be expressed here. First of all, something about God, that God knows, that God exists in a superior state of intellection. Plato said time is the moving image of eternity. My notion of God's cognition is simply the regarding of all points in the space-time continuum with equal clarity. God knows. The limited program of knowing is thought, cognition. Man thinks. This is what man can do in imitation of the all-knowing and omniscient example of God. But implicit is that this is somehow a limited undertaking, this thinking of man. And I recall the famous comment of Pascal that man is a reed bent by the wind. And then Pascal added, but a thinking reed. So then the second half of the conundrum was that making his way toward God. God knows man thinks. God knows that man is participating in the same project of being that God regards from this higher dimensional space. And so then this meditation on these 4 lines closes with the recurso, which returns you then to this realization that what we are talking about is the project of knowing, Heidegger called it, carried out on 2 levels, on the level of omniscience and on the level of limited being. So then I meditated on this after we discussed it yesterday, and I thought tonight it might be interesting then to talk about the thinking project that is the essence of humanness on one level. The thinking project which has as its vector, I call it concrescence, following Whitehead's Neoplatonism, but one could call it God. Teilhard de Chardin called it the omega point, but the process by which knowing transforms itself from some kind of aboriginal apperception of the possibility of God into union with God. And the process that lies between these 2 points is the story of the evolution of human consciousness, or more properly speaking, human history. And the interesting thing, I think, about the Western religions generally is their insistence on the tangentiality of God and history, that God was something to be realized in the life of each individual, but that there was also somehow a collective drama of redemption that was stretched out over a very large period of time. And history then becomes the theater, you see, of the struggle between good and evil for the redemption of the human soul. And from the modern point of view, or let's be more frank, from my point of view, this is primarily something to be analyzed within the context of language and our myths about it and its evolution and its potential future evolution. So and this is in my personal life, the great mystery to me, because I feel that my intellectual style is that of a scientist, and I take very seriously science, and yet not only my faith, but my experience has led me to believe that the world is not a construction of space and time and matter and energy, that mapping is insufficient, that the world is instead some kind of a linguistic construct. It is more in the nature of a sentence or a novel or a work of art than it is in the nature of these machine models of interlocking law that we inherit out of 1,000 years of rational reductionism. The world only behaves as science says it should when we confine our engagement with it to information that is at a great distance from us, like reading the New York Times every day. If you read the New York Times every day, few miracles will occur while you are engaged in that activity. Essentially what is happening is you are getting your cultural programming for the day, all your switches, if any need to be reset by cultural values, are reset at that point. But when we recede into what I call the primacy of immediate experience, the rules and models that we've been handed by science and what's called common sense are just totally found to be inadequate. And I don't mean when we perturb ordinary consciousness with psychedelic drugs. I'll speak about that in a moment. But I simply mean when we go into solitude, when we go into wilderness, when we endure great travail in our lives, or when we put ourselves in extraordinary alien circumstances, then it's as though the membrane between the ego and something else, which we could call our guardian angel or the Jungian unconscious or the overmind, something like that, the membrane grows thin and the world loses its, its mundane character. And instead, things previously mundane begin to become charged with psychic energy. They become carriers of meaning. They become carriers of meaning. This is very peculiar. At a low level, it's not so astonishing. It's a kind of generalized opening to the world, because everything is imbued with significance. That tree, that person, that greeting, that conversation is imbued with a kind of depth and significance that is satisfying. It's like living deeply. But this phenomenon can proceed to a deeper level of introspection and relationship to the exterior. And in that case, then, this significance, which everything was previously seen to have, begins to compress or densify, and the world begins to dissolve into animate intelligence. Now, at this point, if you didn't bargain for this, you're probably very concerned about your mental condition. And if you aren't, your friends are. Because what you're saying at this point is, the rivers talk to me, the trees whisper in my ear. What you're recovering is the meaning. That's all. The meaning that is self-evident in nature, but that we block. The meaning is so pregnant in everything that it can actually articulate itself in your native English tongue. And, talking rocks, talking trees, talking boulders, we define this as pathology. It means, in technical jargon, a severely diminished ego is in danger of overwhelmment by material from the inchoate and disorganized unconscious. Well, but what's actually happening is that for the first time in somebody's life or experience, they are meeting the resident meaning in reality with its force, unblunted by conditioning and denial. And this is some kind of a linguistic process. We and all nature, I think, swims in some kind of sea of signification, of which we are, in the same way that the amphibians were able to drag themselves out of the primitive oceans of this planet into air and exist in a completely different dimension. We, whether grandly or perversely, the verdict is not yet in, we dragged ourselves out of the sea of telepathic, interconnected signification that united all life, and we exist, panting and pop-eyed, in this other dimension called history, ego awareness, presence of self, sense of loss, anticipation of gain, all of these dimensions of experience really have been added to what was previously the animal Tao, just the howling at the moon Tao of animal existence. And to this we have added, a dimension of future anticipation, a dimension of regret, a dimension of how do I make choices, and so forth and so on. There is not I don't put a moral judgment on this, but it has to be said that in the tradition of the West, this has been viewed classically as the fall. This is the fall into names instead of realities, into constructs of reality rather than reality itself. And this has now been inculcated into each and every one of us as, both the glory and the trauma of human existence, which is our extraordinary ability to reside in and be in language. So, for instance, I've made this example before. A child lying in a crib and a hummingbird comes into the room, and the child is ecstatic because this shimmering iridescence of movement and sound and attention, it's just wonderful. I mean, it is an instantaneous miracle when placed against the background of the dull wallpaper of the nursery and so forth. But then mother or nanny or someone comes in and says, "It's a bird, baby. Bird, bird." And this takes this linguistic piece of mosaic tile and places it over the miracle and glues it down with the epoxy of syntactical momentum. And from now on, the miracle is confined within the meaning of the word. And by the time a child is 4 or 5 or 6, no light shines through. They have tiled over every aspect of reality with a linguistic association that blunts it, limits it, and confines it within cultural expectation. But this doesn't mean that this world of signification is not outside, still existent, beyond the horizons, the foreshortened horizons of a culturally validated language. Well, So then classically, the path through this has been through use of psychedelic plants or some form of ascetic practice or fasting or prayer and meditation, whatever, some way of breaking through. And it is literally presented as a breaking through, a penetration to another level, that culture is an imprisoning bubble of interlocking assumptions that are like a collective hallucination. I mean, I hate to say it because it's a recursive metaphor, but culture is like a delusion of some sort, because it isn't true, of course. It isn't true if you're a Witoto. It isn't true that you came from the piss of the anaconda god when he had to get out of his canoe at the first waterfall. That's not really true, but that's your cultural myth, and you live inside it. Our cultural myths, that the world is made of things called new mesons and anti-protons, is of course not true either. But it's a linguistic construct that we culturally validate and live inside. And these cultural myths give permission for certain things. Basically, they give permission to ignore certain kinds of realities. So our language is uniquely set up to ignore, for example, the suppression of femininity. It's also uniquely set up to suppress the statistically infrequent. We really have no patience with that. We have an assembly mind mentality. What we're interested in is that things run smoothly. One can imagine a completely different mentality that cared nothing for statistical norms and only pursued the miraculous. I mean, India, in a way, is that society. They don't give a hoot for, how it works on the humdrum level, but the alien, the peculiar, the other, the unexpected is revered, adored even. So these kinds of cultural values shift, but now we are in a global culture with the combined understandings of 500, 600, 700 language groups and half that many literatures being poured into a global database where some people are assimilating enough of this to begin to play their part in the creation of a kind of global meta-program for language. And I think it's interesting to talk about the form that this may take, because I see this as this is not our salvation, but this is the angel of our salvation. If we can transform and remake language, then we can have the conversation that we must have in order to save ourselves. But we cannot save ourselves until we have a language adequate to the problem that we're facing. And English just won't do it, because English is a language of subject-object opposition. It's a language of a past, present, and future. And the kind of world we're living in is not that kind of world. Now, toiling in the background, misunderstood and unnoticed for centuries, have been mathematicians laboring to create what they call meta-languages of description that seem to them very satisfying, to the rest of us very bewildering. A question worth asking is, why is it that this language, mathematics, which we have so much trouble understanding, seems so tremendously powerful when it comes to the description of nature? This is not a trivial question. Why should numbers, in a sense the most abstract quintessence of the human mind, have anything whatsoever to say about the topology of three-dimensional space and time? It isn't clear. What I believe is happening, and we talked about this last night, generally in the form of a conservation of novelty throughout the history of the universe. But I tended last night to present the universe as a material thing. I spoke of atoms compressing into molecules, into organic creatures, into thinking beings with civilizations and so forth. But another way to think of this is a kind of take a spiritual X-ray of the material universe and then say, if matter is merely the vehicle of the transformations that we call the life of the universe, well then what is the inner dynamic composed of? What is it that is striving? What is it that bootstraps itself forward? What is it that self-reflects? Well, I think what it is it's actually information. Information is some kind of ontological modality that is capable of organizing any system in which it inhabits into self-reflection. So you pour information into matter and you get back DNA capable of making life. But there is a persistent spiritual tradition backed up by psychedelic and shamanic experience that says that there are also hierarchies of incorporeal and disincarnate intelligence that is nevertheless highly organized. Well, until the advent of the computer, I think we were just pretty much at a loss to form any conception whatsoever of how you could have consciousness without a body. But the computer shows us that you can have large-scale systems which have degrees, and then, there's a long philosophical wrangle, which we can just stamp as for another time, degrees of sentience in operating systems. So then it seems to mean that information is the thing which uses matter, uses light, uses spirit, uses whatever it can put its hands on to organize itself into higher and higher levels of self-reflection. Well, then, to what end? I mean, what is all this? Is it just an innate drive toward totality? Or is it a process which exists completed in some higher dimensional space, and we are somehow trapped in a lower dimensional matrix, and we have to endure the illusion that it is incomplete? I mean, I don't have answers for these things. This is the business of theologians, basically, to tell us where we are in this universal machine. But I think that what we can do to enrich our experience and to feed data into our heuristic models is to begin to think in terms of language as the material that we need to work with, instead of public opinion or matter or even energy. It's meaning that we need to coax into our lives. Number one, as meaning enters our lives individually, we become more capable of raising our voices, both in joyous song and in political protest, if necessary. My whole shtick, and the whole shtick of the psychedelic experience, I think, is reclaim immediate experience. Realize that you outvote all parliaments, police forces, and major newspapers on the planet. Because, who knows, they may be illusions. Complicated phenomenological forms of analysis can be carried out to show that their existence is in considerable doubt. But if you carry out this phenomenological reduction, you will discover that it reinforces the notion that you must actually exist and be real. So therefore, you start from that nub of immediate experience and real being, and extrapolation outward should be very provisional. I mean, I don't know how Buddhism handles this. I grant you all a strong possibility of existing, but I'm not nearly as sure about you as I am about me. And I don't think any of you should be more sure of the rest of us than yourself. I mean, the world could be anything, you know? It could be a solid state matrix of some sort. It could be an illusion. It could be a dream. I mean, it really could be a dream. So it pays to stay on your toes, I think. In practical terms, what does all this come down to, besides that we should speak from the heart, clearly, and with our minds engaged? Well, I think that, remember I said we should see language as the stuff with which we work, rather than matter. And that means creating a technology of the sayable, making the complete understanding of new puns a national priority on a par with weapons development. It means exploring the real implications of substituting Finnegan's Wake for the Constitution, this sort of thing. Because what we're doing, you see, is pulling the beard of the linear printheads who really believe all of this stuff, who really are lost in the labyrinth of the political errors of the last 500 years. We can't overwhelm them by force of arms, nor should we wish to. They can actually be teased out of existence because they themselves feel their position to be so ridiculous. It's very interesting how the way the collapse of our enemy in the Soviet Union has exposed the absurdity of our previous positions. All our previous positions are now exposed as absurd, but people don't draw the obvious conclusion. It must also mean then that our present position is absurd. And so it's tremendously liberating. Our culture is ruined. It's a disgrace from which we can now simply walk away. Well, then the question is, into what? And I believe that our persistent fascination with psychedelic states of mind since prehistory forward has been because in the psychedelic state, from the very beginning, there was an anticipation of the very end, and the very end still lies ahead of us. What it is that our nervous system is in the process of evolving us through a linguistic transformation where language, which at the beginning of the process was something that you heard, at the end of the process becomes something that you actually see. And this simple shift from seeing to hearing is the key to our being able to finally recognize each other and communicate. Print and linearity and what's called ear bias for language is what has shattered our sense of ourselves as a collectivity. A positive way of putting it is to say it's also what created the idea of democracy, individual freedom, labor unions, the vote. All of these atomized notions of human obligation and political participation arise out of print. But so do ideas like that we're all alike, because letters from printing presses on pages are all alike. The idea that products should be mass-produced out of mass-produced subunits. This is a printhead notion. It could never have occurred to anyone outside of a printing press culture and never has. These ideas have imparted to our existence a tremendous material opulence and intellectual poverty and spiritual uniformity. And now, literally, we have to illuminate our civilization. We have to take its shoddy, spiritually empty Bauhaus skeleton and illuminate it, psychedelicize it, let 1,000 Paisleys bloom. In other words, release the design process from a commitment to material values. Well, how can you do that? Because the bottom line of material values is the bottom line. It costs. The reason we build in the Bauhaus style, for whatever reason we got into it, we now build in that style because it's the cheapest around. And once you start adding filigrees and changing things, costs soar. How can you do that in a civilization with a cult of democratic values, individualism, and print-created linear uniformity? Well, the only way you can do it is you have to drop design costs to zero. The only way you can do that is if you build virtually. This means you build in an electronic dimension that is added on to ordinary cultural space like an orthogonal dimension. In other words, it's like a TV that you walk into. It's called cyberspace. And in cyberspace, things are built out of light. So it costs as much to build Versailles as it costs to build a hamburger stand, because Versailles and the hamburger stand are just two programs that look exactly the same on disk. So what this means is that the previous set of class-created values based on the acquisition and control of matter begin to break down. This is already happening in America on one level where, to live as a middle-class person is to live on a better level than the Mughal emperors ever dreamed of. I mean, what Mughal emperor could stride to his refrigerator and see cases of French mineral water, juices from the South Seas, pomegranates from South America? Eat your heart out, Mughal Delhi. No chance. So, in a sense, we're beginning to create this leveling, but we have created it by looting the material resources of the rest of the world. Conceivably, it can be created in a virtual space where we would all live in this world, a rather monkish existence. But, there's that wonderful passage in Finnegan's Wake where he says, he's speaking of the red light district of Dublin, which is called Moycane, and he says, "Here in Moycane we flop on the seamy side, but up Nayent, prospector, you sprout all your worth and you woof your wings. If you want to be phoenixed, come and be parked." Well, he was advocating death as a solution to life's problems. If you want to be phoenixed, come and be parked. My solution is not so radical. I think if you want to be phoenixed, come and be parked at your local virtual reality arcade. And then you can be phoenixed in several ways. Well, some of what I'm saying here is facetious. We talked last night about Stan Tenon's wonderful object. For those of you who weren't here, this is a man, a Kabbalistic scholar, who has developed a piece of sculpture such that when you illuminate it from a certain angle, the Hebrew letter Aleph appears as a shadow, and then you move the light slightly, and Aleph turns into Bet. And then you move the light slightly, and so on. In order, his sculpture produces all of the Hebrew letters as shadows from this beautiful form, which he calls the lily. And it ties in with an experience that I had. Well, first let me talk a little bit more about this lily thing that Tenon has discovered. He also made one for Demotic Greek, which, for those of us who thought it was proof positive that Hebrew was the language of God, this was a real blow to the chest. But because he did one for Demotic Greek, too, and it works just as well, implying, and he's working on Arabic, implying that perhaps such forms exist for all alphabets. And so then I was thinking about this last night, and I said, well, if there's a sculpture in 3 dimensions that throws the 2-dimensional alphabets, then obviously in a higher dimension there must be a form which throws into lower dimensions the sculptures that make the alphabet. So that means all alphabets, all letters lead back to a hyperdimensional surface of some sort, which can probably then be described with some kind of weird fractal algorithm. And so then I thought, wow, this is a pretty Hebraic vision of what's going on here. We have the alphabets of local languages being generated from higher dimensional objects that are 3-dimensional, that are then referent to still higher dimensional objects that through which the light of God's love passes, scattering out into the radiance of what can be said. And in a way, this is sort of my vision of the millennium, that we will be resorbed into the Word. You know, the whole story begins in principio et verbum, et verbo caro factum est. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was made flesh. The whole cosmic drama is the mystery of what it is for the Word to be made flesh. Language is seeking to birth itself into the domain of concrete existence. That's obviously what the Word made flesh means. And it seems to me that if the Word can be made flesh, this implies a reciprocity. It implies that the flesh can be made Word. And this brings us back to what I was talking about at the very beginning this evening, which is the curiously literary nature of reality. That it's much more like a novel by Thomas Pynchon than it is like an equation by Ilya Prigogine. And why is that? Is it because, in fact, the flesh is Word? And that understanding this is the real task.
All right, Liberty City, this is your talk radio show Chatterbox, where your opinion matters. Let's go to the phones. Hello, caller, you're on Chatterbox.
Hey, you ever had possum? That's some good eating.
Nah, I really can't say I have.
Well, you ought to try it sometime. I tell you, man, it's good eating. Possum, raccoon, even zebra meat cooks up pretty good.
Do you have anything else to say, or?
Pigeons. Pigeons are good, too. Sometimes they come with notes attached, just like a fortune cookie with wings. Squirrels are not so good. They taste like goldfish. Meat's real stringy. You know what I mean?
Actually, I can't say that I do. But if I did eat too much squirrel and put on a few extra pounds, I'd use the Dormatron. Unlike those other exercise machines that require you to be awake, the Dormatron actually exercises you overnight. Let's learn a little bit more about it.
I've tried everything, and I just couldn't keep those extra 200 pounds off. It started to affect my marriage.
She was too big for me, and I'll sleep with anything.
The Abdometrix, the Thiazides, the tummy stapling. I've had my mouth sewn up, my hands chopped off. You name it, I've tried it.
Yeah, except for exercising and eating right, Porky.
That's right, honey. Then I found the Dormatron. Using a new technology called biorhythmic subconscious gymnastics, the Dormatron exercises you while you sleep. Just strap in your arms and legs, put on the Dormatron headset, then wrap yourself in the special high-voltage electric blanket. Turn it on to 11 and burn those pounds away while you have a relaxing night's sleep. Now that I've lost 280 pounds, my husband's all mine again.
That's right, honey. No more escort services for me. Don't be fat a day longer than you have to. Remember, being fat can even ruin a romantic cruise. Call Dormatron now at 1-800-SLEEP-OFF-LARD or visit www.sleepofflard.com and sleep your way to a thinner, happier you. I'm a marketing manager who lives in the suburbs and commutes to work on the highway. I live alone, so of course I needed a car that could seat 12 and is equipped to drive across Arctic tundra. It just makes me feel better.
The new Maibatsu Monstrosity. Mine is bigger.
Oh, well, that's a good commercial. I love commercials, don't you? This is Chatterbox. We are taking your calls right now. Hello, caller. You are on the air.
Hi, Laszlo. Is that your real name?
Of course it's my real name.
Are you Hungarian?
No, I'm from upstate.
Are you sure that's not a fake radio name like Andy or Bobo? I thought all those radio people had fake names.
Do you have a question, or you just want to sit here and talk all day about my name?
No, that's it. Love the show, Laszlo. Or Mark. Or John. Or Beverly. Whatever your name is.
All right, next caller. You're on Chatterbox. What is on your mind?
Turnips, root vegetables, albino carrots as they're known back home.
Okay, here's the deal. This isn't Gardening with Maurice. That's on later.
No, he got taken off the air. He lied. I know he did. I've been trying to make a hybrid of a peach and a Pekingese midget fighting bitch for the last 2 years, and it is impossible. Impossible, I tell you.
Okay, and speaking of impossible, Jane from Cedar Grove is on the line, and she wants to talk about how difficult it is being a parent today. Hello, Jane.
Hi, Laszlo. I love the show. I'm a first-time caller. I wanted to say something about these video games. They are warping our kids' minds. My son's dog, Bugo, got hit by a truck, and he says, Mommy, Mommy, where's the reset button? Kids these days, they think life is a game. Well, it's not a game, Laszlo. It is very, very serious. I let my kid play video games, and now he runs around the house looking for gold coins. This is teaching our children to go chase money. My little Sam's been playing this new video game called Pogo the Monkey.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
His shop teacher called me today, and Sam made a homemade banana cannon in shop class and was lobbing them across the street at a fast food restaurant. And it's all because of video games. Laszlo, life does not have a reset button.
Right, but this show does. I love that button. It's never a dull moment on this show, especially if you're in our key demographic.
Love Media, bringing people and the finest in entertainment together.
All right, hello, next caller. You're on Chatterbox.
I want to talk about that Spank stuff. People say it's bad for you. It's not bad for you at all. Why aren't you talking? Oh, you think I'm strange? Am I on the air? Hello? Answer me, you pansy.
What's your question?
Spank! 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 Spank!
What about it? I mean, that's not really a question. Questions usually start with words like how and why, and they end with your voice going up like this.
Don't mock me. I know where you work. You're just like all the rest.
How's that?
Fluoride is evil, dude. And toothpaste, they use it to control us. Why do you think all the commercials tell you to brush it twice a day? I've read books.
And what book have you been reading that tells you that toothpaste is evil?
Dentures, the Devil, and the Great Cavity Cover-Up by J. Phil Higginbottom. If you'd seen what I've seen, and if you've heard what I've heard, you'd never brush your teeth again.
I suppose you're one of those people that says that diet soda makes you go crazy later in life.
I told you before, man. Don't mock me. My taxes pay your salary, you pansy.
Yes, sir, this is a commercial radio station owned by Love Media. Advertising revenue pays my salary. And on that note, it's been 2 full minutes since a commercial, but I'd like to say if anyone else is stressed, might I recommend Equinox from Zaibatsu Pharmaceuticals. We'll be back after these important messages.
Sell out!
I used to be concerned and nervous about the future. Sometimes I'd get scared before an important event such as childbirth or a family funeral. Hey, sometimes you need a little help navigating life's trouble spots. That's when I discovered Equinox.
After the divorce and losing little Tommy, life was getting me down. I couldn't focus on anything at work. After trying Equinox, I've been Employee of the Month 3 times in a row.
I used to fall unconscious for hours at a time. Now with Equinox, I never need to sleep.
Equinox is new from Zaibatsu Pharmaceuticals. Ask your doctor about Equinox today.
Equinox may cause nausea, loss of sleep, blurred vision, leakage, kidney problems, and breathing irregularities. Do not take Equinox if you're operating heavy machinery, driving a car, pregnant, of childbearing age, unhappy, or have a family history of mental disorders.
Equinox, softening life's harsh realities.
Tonight, the TV event that will make history, Liberty City Survivor. This takes reality TV to a whole new level. We'll take 20 recently paroled guys, equip them with grenade launchers and flamethrowers, and let them hunt each other down. It's the reality show where you just might be part of the action.
I was grabbing a sandwich at the Happy Blimp, and all of a sudden these guys crashed through the window and started shooting at each other. I was so excited, I didn't even notice I'd been hit. After that, I was hooked on Liberty City Survivor. I watch it every day in the hospital.
The game doesn't end until there's only one man left standing. Tune in nightly or watch the 24-hour live webcast. Liberty City Survivor. Natural selection has come home. Sponsored by Ammunition.
All right, we're back on Chatterbox. Call us on the chatter line to tell us what's on your mind. Line 4, you're on Chatterbox. What's on your mind?
Liberty City Cocks rule!
Ah, that's lovely, thanks. Next caller, you're on Chatterbox.
That last guy was so full of crap. Everyone knows women are made from sand.
Okay, great. Another lunatic. Hello, next caller. You are on Chatterbox.
Yeah, you were talking about short guys and attitudes. Well, you know, you'd have an attitude, too, if you couldn't reach the friggin' cheesy swirls at the grocery store.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it seems like the whole world's against you. I mean...
You know, we're not talking about you. What kind of egomaniac are you? You got your own show. How about letting other people talk for a change? You're all the same, you giants. Oh, I'm tall. I'm so important. Listen to me talk about my tall stuff. I think I'll put this on the top shelf. Hey, what's the weather like down there? How's it going, short stuff? Can you get that? You're closer. Why so sad, Pee-wee? Who do you think you are? Short people are people, too.
All right, another award-winning show on Chatterbox. Today we're talking about anything, it seems. If you have something to say about anything, call now. Hello, caller. You're on Chatterbox.
Yeah, hi, I love the show. Love hearing people's opinions. That's what made this country great. People and opinions and stuff. Most of all, guns. I had it with people whining about guns kill people. Guns don't kill people. Death kills people. Ask a doctor. It's a medical fact. You can't die from a bullet. You can die from a cardiac arrest or organ failure or major hemorrhage. A small piece of metal ain't the problem. Besides, I only use my machine gun in the safety of my own home and car. I ain't hurting nobody. And countries that don't have guns ain't American.
You know, that's a really good point. Countries that don't have guns aren't American. You know, if more people had guns, we'd have less shootings in this country. All right, we're going over here to line 2. Hello, caller. You are on Chatterbox.
Yeah, I'd like to say something about taxes.
You mean the Lone Star State?
No, taxes. Well, you know, look, taxes are really wrong. My father worked his whole life. He played the lottery. And now the state wants him to pay taxes on the money he wins from that stuff? Buy your own lottery tickets, you know? Hey.
Good point. I think that's a lesson to us all. All right, hello. You are on Chatterbox.
Hello, Laszlo. I'm a first-time caller. I recently moved to Liberty City from Hampshire in England.
Oh, really? How do you like it? I mean, is it hard to get used to the language? You speak English pretty good.
Oh, thank you, Laszlo. Yes, I do like it here. There's one thing, though, that's very different and rather worrying. When I was a boy in England, I had a nanny. She was very strict, Laszlo.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's excellent child care here in America, you know.
Well, I'm sure. But the thing is, Laszlo, when I was a naughty boy, I would get spanked. Nanny would spank me when I was naughty. And now Freddie needs a nanny, because when Freddie's naughty, he needs to get spanked.
Well, there's some child psychologists who probably say that spanking can be harmful to a child's emotional development.
Absolute rot, Laszlo. It's lovely. Freddie needs a nanny. He needs a nanny, Laszlo, because Freddie's been a very naughty boy.
How old is your son?
Excuse me?
How old is your son?
I don't have children. I can't stand the little brats. But Freddie needs a nanny.
All right, that's enough of him. God, who gave this guy a green card? This is Chatterbox. We're talking about short guys, nannies, taxes, and anything sane you'd like to bring to the party. Hello, you are on Chatterbox.
I was listening to that caller about taxes. His views were a little extreme. How do you expect to be a responsible member of society if you don't understand how the government spends your money? Why are people afraid of numbers? Sine and cosine are two of the most elegant and incredible discoveries of humanity. I mean, the Cartesian coordinate system has an elemental power I find liberating and even sexy. And I'm not ashamed to say it.
Okay, thanks for calling. Now that we've lost 98% of our audience, let's reward the other 2% with a commercial. When we come back, we'll have a special studio guest. Special because he advertises on this radio station. Remember, it's not a conflict of interest if we own all the radio stations in town. We'll be right back after this message.
In today's fast-paced world, a split second can be the difference between achieving your dreams...
Hey, I just won the Nobel Peace Prize!
...and not.
Oh, wonder if wrestling's on tonight.
More Americans are realizing if you don't have the latest and greatest technological devices, you will fall behind.
I didn't upgrade my personal organizer, and 2 days later I was diagnosed with a terminal illness.
That's exactly why you should come visit the friendly people at House of Tomorrow, and they'll set you up with all your 21st century technology needs.
I only spent $20,000, and now I can get email in the shower or surf the internet while I'm driving.
I was bored stupid at my daughter's recitals and my son's Little League games. Thanks to House of Tomorrow, I can play wireless head-to-head 3D virtual reality poker, literally anywhere.
If it's a flash-in-the-pan technology of absolutely no use to anyone, you can find it at House of Tomorrow. Remember, only technology makes life worth living. House of Tomorrow. We'll upgrade your system, then you can upgrade your life.
And now it is my great pleasure to welcome Fernando Martinez, who it says here is the founder of Fernando's New Beginnings, a revolutionary new way of saving your marriage. Fernando, welcome.
The pleasure is mine, Laszlo. It is an honor to be here. I feel blessed.
Thanks. So tell me about Fernando's new beginnings.
Truly, Laszlo, it is a miracle, a blessing. It is a revolution in the marriage guidance. For my people, marriage is, how'd you say, sacred. The bond between the father and the mother. It is made in heaven and in the bedroom, if you know what I mean.
I think so.
For my people, it is the holiest, most sacrosanct thing imaginable, like a church. Yet, for it to be a happy marriage, it must also be like a brothel. The woman, she must be many, many arts, be skilled in making house, cooking, changing the diapers on the babies, and she must also be a whore, a vixen in the bedroom, imaginative, exotic, constantly fresh. It is impossible. You change diapers and then you are a French maid? Fernando thinks not. Fernando knows not.
Well, I mean, it's an age-old problem. I mean, how do you keep the excitement in a marriage?
Excitement, exactly. Passion, danger. How, Laszlo? How? Tell me how, and I give you a big, big kiss, like I gave a woman. But I am not going to give you a big kiss. Not a kiss like I gave a woman or even a donkey. Because you do not know.
Well, I mean, in this case, ignorance kind of seems like bliss. I wasn't really up for kissing on air. I mean...
Why not, Laszlo? Am I not attractive? Am I not irresistible even to you? Well, no matter. Why all this talking about kissing?
I mean, you brought it up.
No, my friend. You say you not want to kiss me. I was talking how to say, hypothetically, you make me all personal. It's a big difference. If I say, imagine if your wife was ugly, you can nod your head. But if I say, hey, Laszlo, your wife, she looked like yesterday's dinner after I eat. You not so happy. It's a big difference, my friend.
Anyway.
The marriage is impossible, Laszlo. If a man was born an angel, maybe it's possible. But a man is born a man. And a man with needs. He needs a woman to tuck his babies into the bed. But for his bed, he needs something else. Something magical. A dream. Un sueño.
So he starts flirting with this secretary, takes her out for a drink, one thing leads to another, and before you know it, he's found all kinds of uses for the office furniture.
Exactly, Laszlo. I know what you are like. I see it in your eyes. A wanderer. A dreamer. A man who has needs. But an idiot. And I can save you. And I can save your marriage.
My marriage doesn't need saving.
Hey, you are the one mentioning the pretty assisting and the office furniture and the ay caramba, my friend. Listen, Laszlo, and listen very closely. Your marriage is a gift. It's a present from above. But you are a man. I think we see by now you are no angel. I can save you. For when the man, he sees wife all fat, all early, with the dirty diapers and the dirty panties and the scrubby brush, and who knows what else. He's not thinking marriage bad. He's thinking about, well, you're thinking about your pretty assistant. We already know that, see?
Go on.
But Laszlo, what if you act on your fantasy for your little secretary with the short skirt and the pretty eyes and come here, come there, smiling? What then, my friend? What then?
I get a sexual harassment suit.
If you are lucky, my friend. But you, more likely, your marriage is ruined, Laszlo. Your sweetheart, she hates you. Your pretty secretary, she wants you to be her man. You back it to square one. My friend, you and 1,000 men like you. For me, once it was so. But then one day, I was driving my car, and I realized, Fernando, you are blessed. You are a miracle. 1,000 miracles rolled into one. You save the marriage, and you save the man. You don't put the marriage first, and you don't put the man first. Maybe we call it man marriage. Then I think to myself, no, this is a bad name. It sounds really dumb. Then I think we call it Fernando's New Beginnings, because that is what it is, a new beginning, Laszlo.
So how does this work?
It is a miracle, Laszlo, a miracle. A man is a good father, a loving husband, the winner of bread 6.5 days a week. On the spare half day, I save his life.
How?
By giving him what he needs in a controlled environment. I give him passion.
What, with you? That kind of sounds like a limited market.
Laszlo, you are very prejudiced. I don't like that. But no, not with me. Passion for life, passion for love, passion for women, which he can take home to his wife, of course.
What, so you act like a pimp?
Not a pimp, little man, a savior. In a controlled environment, I reintroduce the man to the pleasure he has lost, to the miracles of the world. And truly, the results are remarkable. With my unique counseling, 1,000 marriages have been saved, and 1 million more could be saved every day.
And do the wives know about this?
In their hearts, Laszlo, they know they have been saved.
Okay. We're going to open it up to the phones. If you've got any questions for Fernando Martinez, Exotic Marriage Guidance Made Easy, ring us now. Hey, oh, cool. We have a caller on line 1. Caller, you are on Chatterbox.
Hi, Laszlo. Hey, Fernando. My name's Jerry, and I'm a first-time caller. And I just wanted to say, hey, Laszlo, you're real tough on Fernando back there. I'll tell you one thing. He's a miracle worker. He saved my marriage, and I married a bus of a woman. Now I don't feel sick every time I open my eyes.
See, Laszlo? You see? I remember Jerry so well. He come in, he is like a broken man, like a half a man, a me, if you will. He has no N anymore. And his marriage, it is killing him. Where is the passion? She is gone, replaced by ugliness. You see, Laszlo, Mrs. Jerry, she's not a pretty lady. She's more like an offensive lineman or a tight end. Big and hairy, but fertile. She gives Jerry 5 kids, but she's even bigger. Now she's like a whole offensive line. He feels no pride in himself. He has no pride in his marriage. He is ashamed of this wonderful lady who bears him so many young. And he comes to me and he cries, Fernando, save my marriage. I love my wife, even though she is a fat porker. And I say, Jerry, you are a man. It is a man's duty to love his wife, even if she is like a farmhouse. And now, Jerry is safe.
By sleeping with other women.
Whatever it takes to save a beautiful union. A blessing.
A beautiful union by an adulterer and Queen Kong. That's great. So, who's on the line now?
Hi, Laszlo. This is Janice. I love the show and always wanted to call in, but you really offended me today. Who is this gutter trash you got on the show?
Hey, Janice, I share your anxiety. The studio kind of forced him on me.
Hey, you watch yourself, mister. And you, Janice, why you so ugly? Your husband, he no make you happy?
No, he's an idiot and a jerk.
But he's probably a good daddy, and you sound very pretty. Angry, and a little bit of a know-it-all, but very pretty lady. This is the thing, Laszlo. The women, they think new beginnings is only for men. But no, it is for women too. For Janice, if her husband goes to new beginning, she thinks Senor Wonderful all over again. And in the extreme case, maybe she come to work for me, and she get a new beginning herself. She discovered the excitement and the passion all for herself. Listen, Janice, you called me 555-9292.
Now listen, don't try to pimp out my listeners.
That is a very early word. A travesty. I work miracles, senor, not pimping. I save, I give the passion back. And you better watch yourself, buddy, because for my people, we take these insults very personally. And then, you no longer Mr. Talk Show. You Mr. Who Cut Out My Tongue.
Who are your people anyway? Which exotic location do you come from?
I am Latin.
Latin is a big place there, buddy. Where in Latin?
I do not need to listen to these insults. I have pride. I have a calling. Many are called, but few are chosen, my friend. And I was called and chosen to work a miracle.
So, where were you called from, Fernando?
From upstate, okay? You happy, money, now? I'm not real Latin, but I provide real Latin passion. I work the miracles every day. Listen, wives, children, if your husband, if your daddy, if he's not happy, send him to me, Fernando. In exchange for a few hours a week, I give you the world.
Get off, get lost. You're just a cheap pimp from upstate. Get out of my studio.
I save your daddy. I save your husband. It is a miracle.
Get out of here.
It's a miracle.
Would you like a kitten? Have one delivered. Just log on to petsovernight.com and we'll send you a cute kitten overnight. Petsovernight.com, delivering little bundles of love in a box directly to your door.
And now it's time for a public service announcement from station owner Donald Love.
Hello, my name is Donald Love. You're listening to a Love Media station. Enjoy.
All right, we're back here on Chatterbox, the radio show that never gets old. I'm Laszlo with open ears and a closed mind. Hello, you're on the air. What's your name?
I wanted to talk about spanking.
Oh, God, not another one.
I think spanking kids is the only way to teach them right from wrong.
So you think that teaching kids at an early age that violence is the solution to problems will make them valuable members of our society?
Exactly. I knew you'd understand, Laszlo. My daddy used to whoop the tar out of me. He once hit me so hard my spleen fell out of my ear. Didn't do me no harm. Look at me now. I'm the best pest control guy in East Portland. I've killed more rats and roaches and vermin than you can imagine. And I love it. This is such a great country. I wouldn't be where I am today if my daddy had beaten me senseless.
What are you talking about? Man, I'm starting to believe that guy about the fluoride in the drinking water. Listen, if there's any sane person left in Liberty City that can hear my voice, please call the show right now. This is an SOS going out across the city. All right, let's go over to this line. Hello, caller. You are on the air. Are you sane? Are you a sane caller?
Absolutely, Laszlo. Killer bees.
Killer bees.
Yes, killer bees. Did you know that if the current migration north continues, we will all be dead in 3 years? Did you want to become a bee supper? I don't. That's why we must act now. Killer bees must be stopped.
I wonder why more people aren't talking about this. I mean, killer bees swarming, it sounds pretty serious.
Ah, but the killer bees are nothing compared to ants. You can't kill them. They're like sheep. They're going to take over.
All right, thanks, caller. Ants, killer bees, fat people, what's plaguing you? Call now. Chatterbox, hello, you're on the air.
Yes. I'd like to say something about these damn people on trains and buses in the city who yammer on and on into their cell phones. I'm really glad we get to hear about what you're having for dinner. What we should do is herd them up and put them on an island. I am the president of a group called Citizens Raging Against Phones.
Crap?
Exactly.
Your organization's called Crap. What kind of moron are you? You want to round people up for using a phone, but you're calling up on a phone to tell the world about it. I mean, how many people are there in this crap?
Citizens are raging against phones, Laszlo.
How many people?
There are 3 of us. It's hard organizing meetings without the phone, though. We've had to resort to carrier pigeons, and they keep disappearing.
What are you speaking to me on? What's that in your hand?
I am not the problem. You are, and you're perpetuating the downfall of mankind. Liberty City was great before phones ruined everything.
You City was a church, a cow pasture, and 3 houses when the telephone was invented.
Liar!
You're the liar.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
What are you 3 years old?
Laszlo's a liar. Laszlo's a liar. I bet that isn't even your real name.
Shut up.
You shut up.
Stupid.
Nanny, nanny, boo-boo, stick your head in doo-doo.
Oh, we're going to commercials.
Is your job affecting your health? Do you become fatigued? Does working take time away from family and social events like watching wrestling? There's an easy solution. Sue your boss. See, the great thing about this country is you can sue anyone for pretty much anything, and you'll probably win, or at least get a settlement. At the firm of Rakin & Ponzer Personal Injury Attorneys, we can show you how falling down and howling like a sissy can result in a large damage award from your employer. We also specialize in awards for injuries suffered in auto, bus, and train accidents, and can even train you to throw yourself in front of a bus and pretend to be injured. Hey, that's why they pay for insurance. Call the law offices of Rakin & Ponzer and get ready to enjoy a life of luxury.
All right, we're back on Chatterbox. Let's go to the chatter line here. Hello, caller. You're on Chatterbox.
Laszlo, I just wanted to make your viewers aware that...
Okay, now, this is a radio show. We don't have viewers. We have listeners.
Okay. Anyway, Laszlo, I just wanted to make your viewers aware the first International Puppetry Festival is next month at the fairgrounds, bro. If you're interested in becoming a puppet master or a ventriloquist, you should definitely come down, dude. It's going to be totally killer.
I wasn't aware that there was much demand for puppet shows these days. I mean...
Oh, man. Have you been living under a rock, bro? Guys with puppets get chicks. I take my monkey puppet to the park all the time. We play hacky sack together. It's rad. But anyway, dude, at the International Puppetry Festival, we'll be having workshops on finger puppets, too. Hello, Petunia the Pinky. Meet Barry the Thumb. String puppets, glove puppets. Dude, it's gonna rock.
Okay, thanks.
Hope to see you there, Laszlo. Hey, by the way, can you give me that guy Fernando's number?
Nah, I'm sorry. Fernando hasn't paid his bill to our ad sales department. But here's someone who has. And they paid us in stacks of old groats and gold guineas. We'll be back after this.
Do you live in the boring suburbs but dream of living in a lonely castle on a windswept moor? Do you long to trade in your sweatsuit for a 100-pound suit of armor and swap your SUV for a noble stallion? Do you eat microwave dinners, all the while wishing you were roasting a suckling pig at a pagan banquet? Is your next ideal home improvement a moat? Well, get ready, Liberty City!
This weekend and every weekend at Liberty City Park, it's the Medieval Millennium Fair. Our band of traveling minstrels, knights, and maidens oh so fair are ready to delight you with tales of the Black Death, witch burnings, and the joys of being a feudal serf. Forget about air conditioning and modern medicine. We've got all the leeches, spells, and potions you need at the Medieval Millennium Fair. Learn the art of cooking with turnips. Yum yum. Buy genuine reproduction medieval artifacts including maces, double-handed battle swords, and one-size-fits-all chainmail. And this weekend only, pick up an authentic mechanical Lady of the Lake in Excalibur. It's perfect for your garden pond or swimming pool. And learn how to rid your condo of vermin using a penny whistle and a mysterious prancing German named Hans. The Medieval Millennium Fair, every weekend at Liberty City Park.
All right, Liberty City, you are listening to Chatterbox, the show that is the #1 reason for the success of the internet. All right, let's take a call. Who's on the line?
Clothes.
What about them?
Clothes.
What are you talking about?
Laszlo, clothes. Clothes, Laszlo. I hate them. I just hate them.
I mean, we're all about opinions on Chatterbox, which is Liberty City's premier phone-in station. But why don't you like clothes?
I just hate them. They're so constricting. I mean, does a lion wear clothes? And the lion is the king of the jungle. So why can't I, a humble citizen, go naked?
Well, I mean, I guess a lion has two distinct advantages over you. One, I mean, it's, as you say, a king, and therefore it can exercise its royal prerogative to not wear clothes. And two, it's a cat, and therefore it doesn't have to. And three, I mean, now that I think about it, if you want to try to dress a lion, you can, but I guess what we're learning is that life can be a little unfair at times.
I'm naked, Laszlo. I'm naked.
I really didn't need to know that.
Why, Laszlo? Why? Does it offend you? I was born naked and I'm going to die naked. I'm going to live naked. So there's nothing wrong with being naked. It's so invigorating feeling the hot leather of a chair or the cool wind from the north on your naked body.
I'm going to have to cut you off.
Don't you believe in free speech and free expression? No, of course you don't. All you believe in is free drinks. I'm naked and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. I'm naked and I feel so good.
Well, what about winter?
What do you mean?
What about winter? When the wind blows and it's really cold, do you prance about like a ninny waiting for your privates to go blue?
I was born naked and I'm gonna die naked.
And all shriveled up by the sound of things.
Winter was invented by clothing companies. Clothes are unnecessary. They're ugly. Have you ever cooked in the nude?
No, look, is this leading anywhere? Because, we've got a lot of other people waiting to talk about real things here.
Nudity is real. Open your eyes. Take off your pants. Come on. Come on, Laszlo. You can be a figurehead for Liberty City Naturists. We have more members now for the first time since 1977. Nudity is back. A lot of people are into nudity and really understand the spiritual side.
What? Of hanging out with loads of naked chicks? I see the fun in it, but I just think clothes have distinct advantages, like not accidentally cooking yourself, or when you're working on a building.
We're not swingers. It's not about sex. It's about being one with the world.
All right, dude, groovy. Hug a rainbow. It's time for a public service announcement from Donald Love.
Hello, I'm Donald Love. Under my guidance, Love Media has emerged as the fastest-growing U.S.-run media conglomerate of the past 5 years. With newspapers, television, and radio stations across the U.S. and the free world, alongside a wide array of industrial and technology interests, we at Love Media ensure you get the truth behind the story every time. From films to dog food, from radio to pop music, you can be sure of independent, quality-led broadcasting every time you tune in. That's why we're the fastest-growing cable supplier and health insurance provider in the Northeast, and why our new satellite in China is something all Americans can be proud of. Here at Love Media, we are proud of what we have done to help America and to help hard-working Americans relax. For investment opportunities or information about our new interactive television service, please go to www.lovemedia.tv.
Ooh, that makes me feel all warm and fuzzy. All right, let's go to line 8. Hello, caller. What's your name?
Bob from Pine Creek.
Hey, what's up, Bob from Pine Creek?
Well, I've been listening to your show, and there's always people going on about problems in schools. Guns, people showing disrespect to teachers, drugs. Schools are breeding grounds for crime, ain't they?
Well, I guess it seems that way.
Well, I got a real simple solution. Shut them down. Shut down the schools, and you shut down the problem. No more dead teachers, no more angry students.
Well, but you don't think...
No, I don't. Never. Now listen to me. It makes perfect sense. Kids these days, they complain a lot, but you know what? It costs even more. Shoes, books, toys, even special tiny furniture, pets, that sort of crap. It's all about me. Me. Well, not my Johnny. No, sir. I'm learning him the value of good, hard work. Learning him good. At 3, we taught him how to clean the bathroom. If you left so much as one hair on the soap, it was off to bed with no dinner. And you know what? He went to bed hungry only 20, maybe 30 times. He learned. Now, he brings his mother lunch in bed every day so she can sleep in. Let me tell you, everyone should have their kids serving up food. He even cooks for the whole family. These days he's getting too big to sweep chimneys, so now he's a paralegal at Rake-In and Pouncer. He's 7 and he's making, imagine me, $23,000 a year. And on weekends, he doesn't go to the mall, play soccer, read, or do any of that kind of stuff. No, he works in the basement of a marketing company making photocopies all night. Hell, he'd go to sleep during the day, but that's another $8,000 right there. So now, I'm buying me a bass boat and trailer. What do you say to that?
Well, it sounds kind of like exploitation to me.
Exploitation? Man, you bleeding hearts kill me. Johnny's mine. He's my kid. How can I exploit something I own? Exploitation. You sound like a communist. Kids in Russia, they don't work. That's why everything's so messed up over there. You have to wait in line for toilet paper. And their space station, it was made out of milk crates. I'll tell you, working for a living is the American way. That, and the only thing more American is having folks work for you.
That sounds a little oppressive and even despotic.
Exactly, Laszlo. You hit the nail on the head that time. He's my kid. I'm telling you, just shut the schools down, make the kids work. That book stuff's all for sissies anyway.
And doctors and politicians, lawyers, and whatever. I can't be bothered to argue with you, but I do feel sorry for your little Johnny, the 7-year-old cook, chimney sweep, paralegal photocopier, because his daddy's an idiot. Let's take a quick break.
Phil and I just had another kid, so of course we need a bigger SUV. Being a mom is hard with soccer, football, and lacrosse practice, so we bought the new Maibatsu Monstrosity. It's so big, we lost little Joey in the back and couldn't find him for an hour. When I'm rushing to the mall or talking on my cell phone, I know me and my family are safe. The Maibatsu Monstrosity has 4-wheel drive, and in amphibious mode, it can cross rivers. So far, I've only hit a few puddles, but it's good to know it's there. With the time I save taking shortcuts through the strip mall parking lot, I can focus on the important things, like gazing longingly at the pool boy or buying more exercise equipment off the TV. So what if it gets 3 miles to the gallon? I'm a mom, not a conservationist. The new Maibatsu Monstrosity. Mine is bigger.
Would you like a giraffe? Have one delivered. Just log on to petsovernight.com and we'll send you a giraffe overnight. Petsovernight.com, delivering little bundles of love in a box directly to your door.
All right, you are listening to Chatterbox, hosted by me, Laszlo, because I got kicked off the rock station. Let's go over here and talk to somebody about their life. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Leslie. My name's Martha. I just love your show. I always listen to you when I'm getting my colon irrigated. I just wanted to say something about the internet. You know, the information superhighway, the World Wide Web.
Yeah, I know all about it.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, it's just incredible. I know a lot of people say it's absolutely a load of crap, but how could they be so dumb? It's remarkable, I think. Think of all the things you can do. I mean, suppose you want to buy a new CD. What do you do, Leslie?
I go to a shop, and the name's Laszlo.
I know, Leslie. I'm a regular listener. Well, I don't. I buy a CD online, and then I rip the music into a different format so I can listen to it while I'm jogging. I mean, it's incredible. I also like chess and cooking and bestiality, so the internet is really good for my hobbies. I think it's amazing. I used to go out a lot, but I don't have to go out ever again. It's incredible. I don't envy those kids with their stock options or their fast cars. They earn them. The internet has saved my life.
This is really going nowhere. Do you have anything interesting to say at all?
Well, I once crocheted the Declaration of Independence.
That's phenomenal. It's probably one of the reasons there's so many single men in this city. All right, let's go over to here to line 79. Hello, you're on Chatterbox.
Hello, is that Laszlo?
Yes?
Oh, wow, I'm on the radio. How exciting. Oh, thank you, Laszlo. Is this on the radio? I mean, am I actually on the radio right this second?
Yes, you are. I'm sure it's very exciting for you, but what do you want to talk about?
Oh, man, I mean, what else is there? I could go on all day, but, well, you know how it is, don't you, Laszlo?
Not really. I mean, what's your name? What'd you call about?
I'm sorry. I'm Maria. You know, Maria, like Mamma Mia. Only different, you know. But, you know, men. M-E-N. It's a dirty word. There's only 3 letters. You know what I mean? I mean, your broadcasters are all the same, aren't you? I mean, I heard about you. You're always out on boys' nights.
Whoa. What are you talking about? I'm married.
One of those convenience jobs to protect you, I bet? I know what you're all like. You know more about men than I know about leopard skin furniture. So less of that clever stuff and give me some advice. I mean, come on, I got real problems. You see, okay, I had this boyfriend, and at first, he was real kind to me. He was a real gentleman, a little bit older and everything, but he treated me really good. And then it all went wrong, and so, I found someone else, and he seems real nice, but, he don't talk too much, so I really can't tell if he likes me. And, well, I guess what I want to know is, how do you tell if a guy is serious? I mean, he treats me good, but he don't seem real interested in me. He's always working and hanging out with the guys. Say, you don't think he's like you, do you?
What do you mean like me? Well, what are you insinuating? That he's on the radio? Well, probably not. You're listening to Chatterbox, where your opinion matters, or at least we say that. Let's go over here to line 4. Hello, caller. What's your name?
Jeff from Rockford.
Hello, Jeff. What's up?
I wanted to tell you and your listeners about a once-in-a-lifetime chance to make a difference. There's a rally tomorrow evening at the park, starting at 7. Although we'll be painting banners and singing songs all night and all day to prepare for it. Then, when tens of thousands have gathered in the park, we're going to march on the town hall. Laszlo, the people have spoken, and they have said no, not in my town. So, folks, if you're listening and want to make a difference, get yourselves down to the park and prepare to bring democracy back to the people.
So, what's this rally about, Jeff?
It's about people standing up and being counted. It's about the future. It's about telling those morons in the suits, no thanks, not in my town. Not while I have a breath in my body and hope in my soul. I cannot let this pass.
Let what pass?
It's about grabbing the town by the balls and saying, listen, son, it's time to put up or shut up. No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more easy solutions to difficult problems. It's about what it means to be an American. It's about giving something back.
Giving what back, Jeff?
Hope, dreams, belief.
Belief in what? I mean, look, Jeff, I admire your passion. Really, I do. But what will people be marching for? What's your rally about?
It's about justice, Mr. Lowe. A chance to shine and make a difference. About thousands of people walking side by side as brother marchers. Only one thing on their minds. The chance to make a difference. Bring your friends. Nothing shows a man how much you mean to him more than the chance to walk together for justice. Bring your kids. They can paint signs, and we'll even have a face painter and a vegan barbecue. Bring your parents. Dude, even the elderly care about tomorrow.
I understand that. It sounds like a great rally, but we're not a political station, and you haven't really told us why people should do this. What is it about?
Look, do you want to help or not?
I don't know what I'm helping.
You're helping America. What kind of patriot are you? There's a rally.
You don't know what it's for, do you?
It's for hope. Please come, everybody. It'll be real good.
All right, you fight the power, brother. Say, later on in the show, if you're into health foods or martial arts, we'll have a special guest just for you. This guy's really special, kind of like a romantic cruise, but he can't walk on water. All right, let's go to the phones. Hello, caller, you're on Chatterbox.
Huh?
You're on Chatterbox. What's on your mind?
Oh, wow. I can't believe it.
Do you have a question?
Dude, I call every day and I never get through. This is amazing. You do a great show, man.
Thanks. What's up?
No, man, I'm serious. Really great. You're like a total inspiration.
And exactly what have I inspired you about?
Well, okay, right now I live at home, but pretty soon, like next week, dude, I'm moving out. It's the big 4-0, and it's just time to go.
Okay. Did you have anything relevant to say?
Yeah, dude, that B dude was bogus. Really bogus. That's all. Great show, Laszlo.
I appreciate that. That's why I went to broadcasting school. All right, when we come back from these messages that help supplement my meager salary, we're going to talk to Reed Tucker. It's going to be a great interview. We'll be right back.
A good shoe starts from the ground up. At Eris, we make high-quality footwear. In fact, you can find Eris running shoes in over 140 countries around the world. In the past, there's been some criticism about our workers. That's why I'm here at one of the Eris factories so you can meet some of them. Excuse me, sir. Do you enjoy your job here?
It's fun. We get to play with knives.
I see. Is there a real sense of teamwork?
My friend Joey sewed his hands together.
Wow, you're learning some real skills. How about the salary and benefits?
Yesterday, I made $1.
See, that's the kind of dedication we have to our employees and the quality of our shoes. Eris running shoes. Always running from something.
Buying a gift for the guy that has everything? Log on to petsovernight.com. We've got exotic pets galore, including tigers, cobras, manatees, and white rhinos. All delivered overnight. petsovernight.com, delivering little bundles of love in a box directly to your door.
All right, now joining us in the studio, we have a very special guest. His new book, Karate and Digestion, has been on the top 100 self-help books for the past 3 weeks. He is the founder of Now and Zen Dojo and Organic Food Market in Trenton. His name is Reed Tucker. Welcome to Chatterbox, Reed.
Why, thank you, Laszlo. It certainly is an honor to be here today.
So tell me, Reed, where did you think of the idea of combining martial arts and organic food? I mean, it's kind of like putting ice cream on pizza. Both are great, but they really shouldn't be put together.
Okay, Laszlo. Actually, it is nothing like ice cream with pizza. Ice cream is milk-based, as we all know, and I am lactose intolerant. And pizza, as you may know as well, is a sandwich derivative of Italian origins, but I won't go on. Martial arts are about discipline and physical empowerment, not watching football and eating junk food. You have to explore your mind and your digestive system, Laszlo. What you put in also comes out.
Especially corn. What's the story with that anyway?
Laszlo, I'm deadly serious now. My mentor was a 430-year-old monk who showed me the way to enlightenment through carrot juice.
Okay. If you have a question for Reed, we'll be taking calls in a little bit. I think we all went through a ninja period. You know, I had the Chinese stars and the nunchucks.
This is not a period, Laszlo. This is a way of life. Thanks to a strict vegan diet, I had the power of 9 men. After morning meditation and a 3-bean salad, I could chop a bus in half. Sometimes I even frighten myself.
No offense, but you're kind of a scrawny, pasty dude. And it says on the inside cover of your book that you still live in your parents' basement.
Okay, it's not a basement. I prefer a center for spiritual enlightenment. In chapter 17 of my book, which I know you have read, I address the dangers of cynicism. Laszlo, a closed mind is like a closed fist, and karate means open hand, but it might as well mean open mind. If you like wheatgrass, I think you'll really like my book.
Well, I'm not a masticating cow, so I really don't enjoy chewing damp hay and prancing around in leggings, shouting, "Hi-ya!"
Okay, Laszlo, I'm warning you this time. Do not make me angry. It's bad for my karma, and it will definitely be bad for your karma. I studied the martial arts so I could stand up to bullies just like you, and I encourage everyone listening out there on Chatterbox to buy my book and learn how organic food and martial arts can help you too.
And I encourage anyone who needs a doorstop or a booster seat to buy it as well. Let's see who's on the phones.
Laszlo, this is your final warning. Do not make me go into my dragon's dance.
Hello, caller. You are on the air.
Hello, Reed. I bought your book. It really saved my life.
Why, thank you.
I wanted to ask about Chapter 29, Yoga, Not Yogurt. I just can't give up cheese. It's so wonderful. I've rejected chocolate milk and cat's butter out of my life. I've scooted around the house with my legs pinned behind my head for 2 days now. But my husband says I look like the chick in The Exorcist. I even put all the dairy on the top shelf of the fridge so I couldn't reach it with my legs pinned behind my head and all. But I grow weak and start knocking things down with a broom. What can I do, Reed?
Do not fret, my child. We are all weak.
You certainly are.
Shut up, you carnivore. Why don't you go gnaw on a bone like a gorilla, Laszlo? Our ancestors didn't eat chicken wings. They lived at one with nature and their ecosystem, subsisting on a diet of nuts, berries, and leafy vegetables.
Yes, and they threw stones at their own shadow and died of old age and fear at 24.
Laszlo, the soul is eternal. But let me answer the question. When I'm in trouble or tempted by those all-you-can-eat breakfast buffets with huge pans of juicy bacon...
Can we get some bacon in here?
Laszlo, I go back to basics. I start the day with a fruity beverage, some meditation, and 6 hours of yoga. Next, I go open up my shop, Now and Zen, and drink 2 pints of hand-pressed potato juice.
And who wants a steak after that? Okay, next caller, you are on Chatterbox with Reed Tucker.
Yo, Reed, Kung Fu movies are dope. How can I learn to beat up 10 guys at once?
Okay, first things first, my man. You need to stop the negative thinking. And the best attack I've found is to just run away. That way you instill fear in your opponent. They never know when you might descend from the rafters like a bat.
I don't want to hear about no tofu running away. I want to learn about being a ninja and kicking people's asses.
Actually, I do cover this early on in the book in chapter 45. It's called Stir Fry Your Prejudice. You see, I once thought like you before my master took me under his wing and taught me the joys of soy and origami. Concentration begins in the mind and spreads to all the extremities of the body. You must use the language of the body, not the tongue, and the language of the body begins with raw, uncooked, organic vegetables. Just look at me. I could tear a phone book in half with my bare toes. In fact, Laszlo, I could easily chop this desk in 2 half desks.
This desk is made of 2-inch thick composite wood pulp and has a mahogany veneer finish. It has 3 drawers, and knowing this station, it cost $100. In his own words, Reed Tucker is about to smash it into 2 half desks. Take it away, Reed.
Ladies and gentlemen, I already visualized the desk in 2 half desks, and now I shall make it so. Dragon stance. Hey-ya! Oh! Ow! Oh, Laszlo! I think I hurt my hand and my pinky's all bent the wrong way.
Listen, Karate Kid, the desk is still in one piece. Thanks for coming on the show.
Okay, Laszlo, mockery will get you nowhere. I think I'm gonna hit you now.
Oh, I bruise easily. Don't throw any tofus or bean curds at me.
Okay, very funny, Laszlo. It's easy to make fun of me, but it's all the fault of the feng shui in here. It's downright disgraceful.
Yes, it makes you talk like this. Okay, the listener lines are open. This is Chatterbox. You're on the air.
Hey, Laszlo. That last guy was a lunatic. Where'd you dig him up from? The state loony bin? And that wacko you had going on about killer bees? What a moron. I mean, just read a newspaper. Killer bees, the evils of artificial sweeteners in soda pop, Roswell. It's all part of the government's propaganda plan. I might as well wear a satellite dish so they can beam their propaganda right into my brain. Come on. Do you honestly believe the NSA's echelon system isn't already reading your emails and recording your phone conversations? It's all designed to frighten us so we don't complain about our rights being taken away in the name of fighting whatever boogeyman they come up with today.
Well, I mean, you realize that the government listens to this station, and if they weren't paying particular attention to you before, they're probably going to be following you now.
Oh, yeah. Hey, look, they already got me once, but never again.
Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah. Free Kevin!
All right, we're talking about short guys, killer bees, the Magna Carta, well, the red light on the wall is flashing, which means that the owner of the station has an important announcement to make. Let's go live to his office.
Hello, my name is Donald Love. You're listening to a Love Media station. Enjoy.
Wow, man, that was deep. You know, I really like working here. This station, it feels like my second family, except that we have a snack machine. And I tell you, working here beats the hell out of digging sewage ditches outside Kuala Lumpur. All right, let's go to the phones. Hello, caller. You're on Chatterbox.
Laszlo, man, I was listening to that English wimp you were talking to earlier. I mean, do these guys realize how wussy they sound? I mean, they have the nerve to call crackers biscuits, and they say aluminium instead of aluminum. I mean, what's up with that? They all think they sound so smart with the little funny accents. I mean, I got something for them. Speak English, you limey morons.
Well, you know, I think they were speaking English before we were. The people over here were speaking Shoshone and Cherokee.
Man, Cherokee schmarokee, man. And another thing, what's up with them calling soccer football? Man, you ever watch soccer? Man, that's a boring game, man. I'll tell you what soccer is. Soccer's for little girls, man. Football, now that's an American sport. It teaches you good, wholesome American values, man, like stealing other people's land by force and wearing tight pants while you do it.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about being a man, Laszlo. Something you wouldn't know anything about from the sound of things. I'll tell you, I bet you played wimpy stuff like touch football and basketball. Look, I'm running around the court bouncing the ball, and I'm 7'3". I'm telling you, man, I only play men's sports like football and hopscotch.
Hopscotch? That's a girl's game.
Man, that ain't a girl's game, man. Not rugby hopscotch. Man, get me in a scrum and I'm dangerous. I'll take anybody down. I'm the hopscotch master. I got fly skills in hopscotch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see your point, but, you know, you'd be a little cranky, too, if your empire had fallen apart over the last 100 years. And speaking of commerce, it's time for some commerce here. Let's go to commercials. We'll be back after this.
Has your marriage gone stale? Has the spark gone out of your love life? Looking to add a little adventure to the monotony of monogamy? Hello, I am Fernando Martinez, founder of Fernando's New Beginnings, a revolutionary new way of saving your marriage. We understand how 2 kids and a mortgage can take the passion out of your life. With our 3-step program, you'll rediscover romance guaranteed.
Hi, my name's Phil. I've got 3 kids, 2 cars, and a mortgage. My love life was going stale, even before my wife's car accident. Then I called New Beginnings. Thanks to Fernando, I'm still married, but on Wednesday afternoons, I meet Barbara at the motel by the turnpike.
See? The passion she's back. Phil's marriage is saved, and his kids will have a daddy to look up to. Call New Beginnings today. 555-9292. It will be a miracle. I guarantee it. Fernando's New Beginnings. We turn an ending into a new beginning.
Mom, there's a package for you.
But I didn't order anything. What's this? How sweet. Gee willikers, it's a puppy.
Everybody loves a puppy. And now you can ship one anywhere just by logging on to petsovernight.com. Petsovernight.com, delivering little bundles of love in a box directly to your door.
And who says that e-commerce isn't a brilliant idea? All right, speaking of brilliant, you're listening to Chatterbox with me, Laszlo. Let's go over here to the phones and see what's plaguing Liberty City. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Wow, I got through. Laszlo, I think your last few callers are a perfect example of manners in this city. People are rude, and they don't seem to care about anything but themselves. Perfect example. The other day, I stopped at the store to pick up an exercise bar because I hadn't had breakfast or lunch. So I go up to pay, and the lady's like, $1.25, please. So I get out my checkbook, and this guy behind me is like, oh, come on, lady, you don't have $2? And I said, as a matter of fact, I don't. I spent my last $2 last night buying gas at these ridiculous gas prices. And besides, who are you anyway? Can't you see that I'm wearing my I Walked for the Cure t-shirt? People are so inconsiderate.
Well, you'll get no argument from me. I mean, I get every inconsiderate moron in Liberty City calling into this show. I mean, people think that I have no feelings whatsoever.
Exactly. Another perfect example. The other day, I'm over at the hospital to have lunch with my girlfriend, Charisse, and this maniac comes right up on my bumper, flashing his lights, and I'm like, hey, guy, the light is red. You can't just come up behind me honking and flashing your lights. Then he gets over this megaphone and says, to the woman in the teal Maibatsu monstrosity, please move to the side. Can you believe it? I mean, who has a megaphone rigged into their car? People are so obnoxious these days and rude. I mean, I tell my nanny to teach my kids some manners.
You know, I think that's a lesson to us all. All right, hello, next caller. You're on Chatterbox.
Hello, Laszlo. Did that woman say she was a nanny? Because Freddie needs a nanny because he's been a very naughty boy.
No nannies. Let's go to our next caller. All right.
Colonel James T., United States Marine Corps, 2nd Battalion. Laszlo, that caller made a really valid point. These kids today have no respect for authority. And there is one thing that would whip them into shape.
Let me guess. The military.
That's right. The military teaches you respect, obedience, and it gives you a good pension. These kids that thought they were going to be millionaires, look where the super information highway has gotten them. Nowhere. It's a dead end. Uncle Sam takes care of his boys. And some girls. If more people would join the military, this would be a better country. And I tell you another thing about respect. These kids don't respect veterans. We fought for your freedom. When I came back from the Australian-American War, I didn't get a hero's welcome. I didn't get a pat on the back from my friends and neighbors saying, thanks for fighting for our freedom, James. After years of fighting in the trenches, I come back here and everyone's watching TV.
Now, can you tell me what this Australian-American War was? I mean, I really never heard of it.
God, not another one. Have you read a history book lately, son? The Australian-American War was the biggest war since the big one. I tell you, I didn't do 2 tours and take boomerang shrapnel in my head so I could come back here and have a bunch of hippies deny history. Those Aussies are ruthless. They even wired kangaroos with explosives. Come hopping into camp, knock out 10 guys.
Well, thanks for the history lesson. All right, let's go over here. Hello, caller. You're on Chatterbox.
Yeah? Is that Laszlo?
Yes, it is. Who's this?
My name ain't important. It's real unimportant, okay?
No, not really. I mean, this is a radio show. People usually tell us their name.
My name is real unimportant. And you want to keep being a wise guy, you'll find out just how unimportant. Like, unimportant, I just got shot in the head, unimportant. Do I make myself clear?
Yes. Why are you calling in today?
Because I need some advice. And I ain't doing any of that shrink shit.
If you swear again, we're gonna have to cut you off. This is a family show.
Sorry. I'm just a little unhappy, a bit agitated. Real angry. It's my ma. She don't think I'm a real man. Can you imagine that? I mean, I do a man's job and all, but she treats me like a little boy. All I get is, your pa this and your pa that, and you ain't a real man, Tony, and it's driving me freaking nuts.
Well, Tony...
Tony? How'd you know my name was Tony? You tracing this call? 'Cause if you are, you're gonna get real intimately acquainted with what your brains look like. My name ain't Tony, okay?
Okay.
But my mom, she keeps going, Tony, be a real man. Stand up for yourself. Don't take no shit. But all I do is to be a good son. And I want her to show that she cares for me. Show that she loves me. And, you know, say I was a good kid. But It seems like nothing's ever good enough for her. You know what I mean? What do I do?
Well, Toad, I mean, sir, you know, in life we have a lot of obligations, and we just kind of have to face up to them. And right now, I'm obligated to play some commercial announcements. We'll be back right after this.
We've got a new friend for everyone. He's got fur and a tail. He gets in lots of trouble, but he's a bouncy little fellow, 'cause he's got springs for legs. Pogo the Monkey, the best new video game for the whole family.
I love you, Pogo. You bounce.
Help Pogo escape from the evil research laboratory where the mean old scientist genetically altered him. Uh-oh, the pharmaceutical scientist is going to get you, Pogo.
Here you go, Pogo. Have a gold coin.
Good thing Pogo has a banana cannon. Those nasty scientists deserve to die. Now get the shampoo manufacturers before they squirt it in your eye.
Here you go, Pogo. Have a diamond.
You'll guide Pogo through tons of fun adventures, including saving Timmy, who fell down the well.
Help! Here you go, Pogo. Have a big watch.
Rescue a cat out of that tree with your banana cannon, Pogo.
Here you go, Pogo. Have a fast car.
And help Pogo to his final mission, to storm the White House with his friends and become President of the United States. Pogo the Monkey is the game kids are sure to stare at for hours. Everyone loves Pogo. Idiot Gamer called Pogo the best spring and simian game since bouncing bananas. Buy the game Pogo the Monkey today. Right, Pogo? And coming soon, Pogo the Monkey card game, Pogo the Monkey plastic dolls, Pogo the Monkey quilt covers, and Pogo the Monkey car covers. For the dad who has everything, why not a Pogo the Monkey tie-in sports jacket? For the lady in your life, why not Pogo the Monkey chocolates and hygiene products so she smells like a real monkey? And for kids, a life-size, living, breathing, springing monkey. All available at pogothemonkey.com.
Nuts!
Well, Tony...
Tony? How'd you know my name was Tony? You tracing this call? 'Cause if you are, you're gonna get real intimately acquainted with what your brains look like. My name ain't Tony, okay? Nobody, I mean nobody, messes with Tony Cipriani. Shoving a firecracker up your ass.
Well, I've heard it. This is also said about the Maya. It was said even about the dinosaurs, which doesn't mean it can't happen. I don't know if I believe it ever has happened. Obviously, I believe in principle it can happen. I believe, it has always seemed to me that this used to be the motivation for my LSD taking. It seemed to me that you could sit down in a room with someone and begin to, this is maybe what I'm trying to do with you, but we never get there. Sit down in a room with someone and begin to have a conversation that would take it apart. Take it apart and leave nothing there. At the end, no guru, no method, no teacher, and no nothing else either. I think that the world is held together by a misunderstanding. And that if you could overcome that misunderstanding, it would just fold up and deconstruct. And that in a sense, this is what the concept of enlightenment is. I think it's a series of insights or thoughts or revelations, one which projects forward into another, which leads you to just say, oh, it's not this, and it's not that, and it's not this, and then, yeah. Well, I guess the mundane plane is the misunderstanding. And I guess then if we analyze the mundane plane, we see what constitutes the misunderstanding. A belief in three-dimensional space and time, a belief in the finite life of the organism, and then the rupture of the mundane plane leads to this kind of Platonic superspace where there seems then to rest incontrovertible truths. They are not truths approached by logic and argument. They are self-evidently true. So they're either true for you or they're not true. And shamanism then sort of views all this very optimistically, takes the existence of this transmundane world as a higher world, a world in which healing can be done and the community can be made to cohere. And the shaman is essentially a technician, wiring and repairing and moving behind the board of culture, keeping all these lines open and together. Is that where your interest lies? Well, yes, I see. So apparently, it seems to me that it looks like mind is something that, if we were to make an analogy, it's somewhat like sulfur, in that sulfur has this weird quality of having two melting points. You have solid yellow sulfur and you heat it and it melts. But then you keep heating it and it turns back into a solid. And you continue heating it and it melts again. This is a curious property of sulfur, but not magical. The human mind seems to me to be like that. It's something that in the mundane plane, it has collapsed down into a tool for threat detection and social account keeping, basically. But when you go alone or with your nearest and dearest to wilderness or places where you feel secure, and you perturb the chemical foundations of consciousness, then this is the equivalent of heating the sulfur. And lo and behold, a new geometry is cast out of the fluid mercury of the psychedelicized mind. And I think I said this morning, I really favor a geometric model. I think that the shaman's power comes from the fact that the shamans really are seeing things from a higher dimensional perspective, that's not a metaphor or an analogy, that's the voice of mathematics speaking. And because as I analyze, the history of biology and higher animals and culture and so forth, what I see as a continuous theme from the very beginning is the conquest of dimensionality. Life conquers dimensions. Life begins as a fixed slime in one place with no eyes, no ears, no nothing, and it evolves tactile awareness. Then it slowly becomes, through the sequestering of pigment-sensitive cells onto its surface, it acquires the notion of a gradient of light and darkness, and then through the formation of lenses, it's able to stabilize an impression of the exterior world. It evolves progressively more advanced forms of locomotion. Eventually it evolves memory and complex cognitive interior maps for anticipating the future. This is a description of a strategy for the conquest of dimensionality. And I think really the shamans are the people among us who represent the next evolutionary level. They're people who have learned to do what we can't do, to come and go from hyperspace, whatever it is, an informational superspace that exists inside the psychology of the individual and the group that we can't even see because we're materialists, fixated on the topological surfaces of the three-dimensional manifold, which is only one level in the onion of reality. These shamans have moved over to another level, but I think they are the paradigm for a new authentication of the human experience. And it's all about experience. This is what we clearly have wandered too far from. We are two in our heads. The consequences of a phonetic alphabet, monotheism, modern science, Greek aesthetics, yada, 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 is just to move us too far from experience. And so then this compensating thing is coming back in, and the shaman is the paradigmatic figure. And when you analyze what shamanism is, the psychedelic experience is revealed to be the sine qua non of this lifestyle. I fiddled with screenplays. My objection to most visions of extraterrestrials is people don't understand. Extraterrestrials are not mundane. You know, they don't want our beautiful women. And they don't have a fascination with our gross industrial output. The real trick with an extraterrestrial is to know when you're in the presence of one, because it is going to be so strange and of such a different order of magnitude in many parameters that the trick is recognition, I think. I mean, eventually we may come to see that many life forms that we are not all to be traced back to one blob of germplasm, that, you know, the warm pond theory. I think the warm pond theory is in for serious revision. I think interesting genes have blown in here every once in a while over the millennia as the Earth has ground forward, and of course those genes get embedded in living systems. The mitochondria which power the animal cell were originally free-swimming bacteria that got into a symbiotic relationship with some kind of membrane-like matrix, and before they knew it, they had been incorporated as subcellular organelles of a larger system. Mind that this doesn't happen to you. Yeah. Well, isn't it? It's the role of the artist. It's to stretch the envelope. It's to bring the news from the edge. I mean, the musician, the shaman, the smith, the physician, these were all originally combined, you know, because the mystery of creation and the mystery of the human body, this was all spun together. That's why when people say, you know, what is the proper response to the culture crisis, I think the response is to shamanize. And that means, you know, to help with the healing, to explore the invisible world, and to make art, to try to make art, to try and anticipate the revelatory process by which the transcendental other is drawing the historical matrix into an ever clearer reflection of its identity, whatever it is. I mean, it's going to come through us somehow. We invoke it. We're boring toward it through the mountain of human history. It's boring toward us. We can anticipate it. It senses us. This is a real relationship here, but it's a relationship where illusion must be shed and shed and shed about what the other is.
You might be describing graffiti artist.
Well, it's not clear, as I say, it's not clear what the intent is. After all, and from here, you know, you have to have a pretty complicated rap to deny that we are in some kind of unusual situation here, folks. Well, that suggests to me that this is awfully close to the surface of ordinary metabolism, considering what a shocking shift of consciousness it is. I mean, millions of people go to the grave without ever having a DMT trip unless they have it at the brink of the grave. That we don't know about. But the idea that in a dream such a shockingly extreme physiological response could be elicited means, I'll bet if we could do human work with DMT unfettered in an environment of biofeedback and that sort of thing, that you could teach people to have this experience. Well, that may be what it's all about. Is, a non-invasive, non-drug technique for just opening up a portion of your brain that somehow cultural abuse has closed off to us, and that if we could access it, that would be the dream time, and that would be the entry into the domain outside of history. The Seth material. Well, I used to say if you can do this without drugs, you're probably mentally ill. I tend to take a hard view of it. I don't exactly understand the razzmatazz that surrounds it. I mean, I've talked with many entities. I've never felt the need to establish the spelling of their English name, or, you know, this wish to name the entity puzzles me, or whatever. But I didn't then write a book and go on Opry and say that I was channeling Dorothy and that the world should pay attention. It seems to me a curious relationship to your own mental life that you would say you were a channeler. I mean, it's just, these are the things we think, and it's a way of casting it. For instance, it never occurs to me, or it doesn't seem to me a very interesting question to say of the mushroom, is it the same person each time? I mean, what a joke. It's some kind of enormous intellectual agency. It's not a human being. That's the thing. The channeling, I guess my take on channeling is, and it will come out maybe tonight when we talk about the time wave, is that the real skinny is that you have a connection to everybody who ever lived. And there's a way of tuning your internal machinery in such a way that, you know, here comes Marie Antoinette, or here comes Beethoven. But it isn't that Beethoven is a relative of yours, or still less that you were Beethoven. I mean, how likely is that, for crying out loud? It's simply that they're all there in some cultural superspace and can be reached and called down. I mean, they're an idea. Beethoven is an idea. You know, his grumpiness, the hands behind the back, the da-da-da-da, we know Beethoven. And so he lives in some kind of superspace. And I think people are just much too literal. I have this trouble with channeling and with flying saucer people and with the fans of Great Atlantis and the people who believe that, you know, lantern-jawed Neanderthal visages 10 miles high are gracing the deserts of Mars. All of this, the attraction of this kind of thing completely puzzles me because it's so hokey. And if you want the real thing, you know, it's just 5 dried grams away. The real thing. I mean, so that, you know, you will have done with anecdotes by the denizens of trailer camps in Florida about, or all of this other stuff. I mean, it's not that the woo-woo isn't out there. It's that it's so much more woo-woo than the beady-eyed peddlers of it assume that they just have no idea of what they're playing with. The New Age generally, I find, somewhat obnoxious because it's a flight from the psychedelic experience. I mean, what you can safely say about the New Age is if a technique doesn't work, they'll proclaim it. And it's certain, and I'm very much in favor of anything which breaks down the conceptions of ordinary medical practice. That's the most important part of the New Age. The attack on the medical fascism of the hierarchy. But people confuse science with reason and think that if you're anti-science, then you're somehow just permitted to go bananas. No, You know, you can be anti-science, but nobody gets released from stuff like the rules of evidence. You have to make sense. Your position, whatever it is, just can't be sky blue. And you should then expect to be treated with the same respect as somebody who's gotten themselves epistemologically together and ontologically oriented. I mean, there are flaky ideas in this world. And that, you know, people associate me with the New Age because that was the only place where I was originally tolerated. But I really want my ideas to be tested in the ordinary way, by the ordinary methods. I mean, I offer a mathematical formalism and then surrounding that a bunch of arm-waving verbal exegesis. The core thing is the mathematical algorithm to be tested by the ordinary rules of evidence and falsification. And, you know, you can read Karl Popper to figure out what all that's about. I love science. I just think it's incredibly pretentious and has claimed too much. Its methods are great. Its constipated conservatism is maddening because what it deals with is the most interesting thing there is, nature. Nature is very, very interesting, complex, and permits all kinds of radical speculation about what has happened. It's just that science is also a business, and also a priesthood, and also a men's club, and also the plaything of certain classes. So all that has to be overcome. My method, I suppose, if method is the word which I would share with you, since this question about the New Age came up, is not to embrace things which are simply outrage bourgeois sensibilities, but to explore edges, to test edges yourself. That's the important, yourself. You don't learn about Tantra by reading about Tantra, or Ibogaine by reading about Ibogaine. You know, you have to go and do these things. And what you will discover is, you know, you will be fleeced a few times in your youth with this method, you know. You'll get in with some flying saucer cult or some beady-eyed guru and his fanatical devotees, but eventually you'll learn the neighborhood and you'll become street smart and you won't be a mark. That's the goal of a real spiritual method, is to not be a mark. And then when you get that together, lo and behold, you would think this would lead to cynicism. Because you say, well, I went and I stayed with Babaji and he was a jackass, and then, you know, I joined the Unitarian, Uniformitarian, Unifunctionalists, and that was just a scam, and so forth and so on. You would think it would lead to cynicism. Not if you keep to the edges. Because eventually you're going to come to psychedelics. And then, lo and behold, jackpot, the real thing, weirdness beyond all possibility to comprehend. You know, you have just won the Publishers Clearing sweepstakes of peculiarity. Yeah. I had this happen in the 60s. I got into a place with LSD where I had this LSD and I would give my friends one and I would excuse myself and I would take one and then I would excuse myself to the bathroom and take 5 more. And then I would end up holding their hand all night long, and I felt weird about it. I felt like, you know, where is all this stuff going? It's like it's not working. And when that happened to me, I just said it's time to dry out for a while. And I did, and then everything worked normally later. One of the weirdest things I've encountered is about 1 in 20 people don't react to DMT. And it looks genetic to me. I mean, I can't believe you could resist that. If it's coming at them the way it comes at me, nothing could stop it. And yet they will do it and take, you know, enormous inhalations and then say, is this it? Or, I don't know, it's kind of strange, but it doesn't seem, and you're just like, oh my God, what is this? So And one thing to bear in mind in all of this is that we talk a lot about the mental effects of drugs, but these drugs are tiny objects. They are molecules, and they won't work unless they find their way to your synaptic cleft and find waiting for them there what are called drug receptors. Think of them as little outlet holes into which the drug can plug itself. And how many of these little receptors you have is part of your genetic inheritance. And so some people have a lot, and some people have a little, and some people have some for some, and some have some for others. And you have to learn what works for you and what the right tool is. Yeah. Yes, toad is 5-methoxy-DMT. It's an exudate of Bufo alvarius, a large southwestern toad.
So it is DMT?
No, it is not DMT. It's 5-methoxy-DMT, and it doesn't cause the same thing that DMT causes. It causes an intense, void-like emotion that is very dissolving, but it is not accompanied by the kind of visual activity that DMT. The visual activity on DMT is astonishing. I mean, it conveys you into a world more complex than the world we're living in, a world of brilliant colors and faceted surfaces. Yes, but on ayahuasca, unless it's really horrendously strong, you will never reach the kinds of places you reach on a DMT flash. Smoking it. No, there is nothing like that this side of the yawning grave, I hope. I mean, I don't know. Is everybody cognizant of what that's like, about how fast the world can be rearranged and how totally replaced it can be by something that you not only hadn't imagined until 30 seconds before that, you couldn't imagine. And now here it is. And you just you gape in slack-jawed disbelief at what has happened to reality. Oh, no, it doesn't induce... Somebody asked, is it dangerous? The danger with DMT is death by astonishment. This is an entirely possible outcome of your involvement with it, especially if you're intelligent. I think the more intelligent you are, the more at risk you are for death by astonishment, because you just say, good grief. Well, I'm pro-virtual reality just in the sense that I don't think it should be made illegal and stamped out. I think it should be a legitimate area of research. I certainly don't think most people should plan on decamping to virtual reality land for the rest of much of their lives. That wouldn't be a good idea. I see it primarily as a tool for studying language and communication. You never know where a technology is going to lead. When Edison invented the phonograph record, his sincere belief was that its major application would be in the making of wills, because you would have an incontrovertible record of the person's voice speaking, and so it wouldn't be legally contestable in court. Well, I don't know if anybody has ever made a will on a phonograph record, It clearly had an entirely different use and application. So here we've arrived at Sunday morning. This is basically loose ends, complaints, resolution, that whole bit. So let's work our way into it, and then if need be, I'll harangue. So anybody have anything they want to, yeah. I like understanding. I think, Whitehead said that understanding is the apperception of pattern as such. That's all, as such. And so you can look at any situation and see different patterns. I mean, like in this room, if we were sociologists, we could analyze where the women are and where the men are, and that would be a pattern, and we could talk about that. Then we could switch our field of interest and talk about where the men and women over 40 are and the men and women under 40, an entirely different pattern. Where the people wearing socks are and the barefoot people. And you realize that in any assemblage of objects, there's an infinite number of patterns of connection. And the more of them you see, the more you have this feeling which we call understanding. And it's a feeling of having assimilated the object to yourself. And the great mysterious assemblage, the mother of all weird assemblages is history. You know, the peregrinations of our species through time, and the detritus of that journey. I have a friend in London who's a rare book dealer, and when I'm in London, I'm usually able to contrive a situation where he has to have some errand out. And so then I'm left alone for hours with the books inside these multiple concentric circles of security. And I can open up all the cases and pour through this stuff. And it's astonishing. I mean, the cul-de-sacs into which the human mind has wandered, you know, phlogiston theory, the Chaldean oracles, the Wunderkammer, the hollow earth thing, and then all this literature of exploration. I mean, the stratigraphy of the human experience is maps and machines and diaries and blueprints. And out of all this, if there can be a pattern, then there's a kind of an epiphany, a kind of a sense of order, of, aha, it does make sense. It isn't simply a chaos. Well, that's a Hindu notion of this same thing, essentially. This Platonic superdimension where all and everything is suspended and in place. If you ever want to have a very bizarre sub-psychedelic experience when you're in Oxford, go to the Pitt Rivers Museum. Everybody goes to the Ashmolean, and of course you should, to see the Uccellos and all that. But on the kinkier side, the Pitt Rivers Museum. Pitt Rivers was an early ethnographer in England, and into one of those Victorian cast metal and glass-ceilinged buildings, he gathered hundreds of millions of objects classified by category. So, you know, there are like 50,000 needles from all over the world in drawers, 10,000 pairs of pliers from all over the world, from all times and places, and on, and they're in drawers which you can open, and the stuff is stacked up 20 feet high, and you realize that it's a concentration of manas. It's a concrescence. There's one section where there are over 200 drawers labeled magical amulets. And you open these drawers and look, magical amulets, southern Iraq, magical amulets, Syria, and on and on. Very bizarre. That to me is, you know, searching for pattern through the detritus of human history, because I really think that we are caught up in a relationship with something very, very mysterious. I don't like religious vocabularies, but an epiphany is taking place. Consciousness is really important, and it is using the stuff of biology to create some kind of new order in nature. And technology, I'm convinced, has something to do with it. That, you know, machines are more than they appear to be, and the machine, as we have known it, is to modern technology is to a possible technology what the chipped flint is to the technology that we possess today. I mean, the concept of a machine, which is downloading of a function into matter, is a concept of immense profundity. Life may be able to extend its career by orders of magnitude through this means. And life is now seen to be, I think, clearly central in the evolution and the career of the universe. Most stars gutter out of existence after 500, 600 million years. That's the average lifetime of a star. We happen to be on a planet around an extraordinarily slow-burning and smooth-burning star that has lasted a long time. But life on this planet has been here for at least 2 billion years. That's 3 times the life of the average star. Biology is persistent. Biology is a major player. And biology is not entropic. You know, a star, no matter how smooth burning and self-sustaining, is on a downward energy curve toward heat, death, and extinction. Biology, on the other hand, it pumps itself to higher and higher levels of complexity, faster and faster. And it uses the dying stars as stepping stones from one to another. The way, you know, for instance, in the Hawaiian Islands, there's 30 million years of evolution visible, but no island out there has been above water more than 6 million years. The islands keep slipping beneath the sea and rising at the western edge of the complex, and the life keeps stepping from island to island and perpetuating itself. Hans Moravec has done calculations of the kinds of computational simulations that could be carried out if you had a computer where every atom was a switch and the computer was the size of the solar system. With a computer of that size, you could resurrect every DNA sequence that has ever existed on this planet. And he feels that you would feel a moral obligation so to do, and that the resurrection of the dead would become a social project pursued with government funding. Yeah. Well, I don't think Rupert would agree that biology is entropic. The way biology works is by being what's called an open system far from equilibrium. You see, a closed system, like a star or a fire, will always drift toward equilibrium, which is entropic. But the miracle of biology is that by taking in matter, by being an open system and allowing matter to come into the system and then breaking down that matter and extracting energy from it, the biological organism achieves the miracle of evading equilibrium. It hovers off the main curve of equilibrium. So people who talk about the third... What? Well, this is debatable at the highest level. There's a problem there because for some weird reason, the identifiable amount of matter in the universe falls so close to the cusp of whether of either it is open or it's closed that they can't tell. And why this is probably means there's something wrong with the theory. You know, Bridgman said a coincidence is what you have left over when you apply a bad theory. But I want to go back for a moment to this question of the open system far from equilibrium. The second law of thermodynamics, which was thought to be inviolate, states that all systems run down into entropy. But in practical terms, given the facts I just stated about how life is 3 times as persistent than the average star, and that if you view life on this planet as a single unified system of genes, then we have to say that there has been a dissipative structure, far from equilibrium. For 2 billion years, it's been able to maintain itself well off the entropic curve. So I think the second law of thermodynamics looks much more provisional from that light. Well, but see, it's been the third law that has been the downer. I mean, the second law, because it seems to dictate some existential terminus to everything. But see, that's when you view the universe as matter. Here's another thing you have to lay over this. That all comes out of a materialistic view of the universe. If you view the universe as information, the picture becomes much more complicated. We don't really understand what this process is of symbolic signification, of arbitrary assignment of significant association. And it's not simply something done in human language. The codons of the DNA that code, the 3 nucleotide codons that code for amino acids that build proteins, are arbitrarily assigned at the molecular level. There is no inherent logic that says that guanine, 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 that codon, should code for what it does. It's entirely arbitrary, and yet out of that leap to arbitrary signification comes life itself. So we shouldn't assume, and it's a natural tendency to fall back into it, that we know what we're talking about. You know, that our intellectual journey through time has taken us to the level where we can actually glimpse what the basic ordering principle is. It may lie in language, not matter, yeah.
I keep waiting for you to get to the political implications of all this.
Oh, well, I think I passed through it lightly, but let me take another stab at it. If my picture of things is correct, or even close, then the future is going to become considerably more dramatic from the middle 90s on. What we have directly in front of us is sort of the long golden garden party afternoon before the news arrives. And as the world gets more and more peculiar and improbable, and given the kind of things going on out at Jupiter that I talked about, this seems to be arriving on schedule, all this chaotic activity. There's going to be various political stances arise in relation to all of this stuff. For instance, one faction will say that nothing at all is wrong. This is, I think, what we see going on now, that there's a kind of collusion by governments and institutions to manage apocalyptic awareness, and to say, well, you don't need to worry about the fact that ozone is disappearing from the atmosphere, because by 2000 we will have a 7% reduction in output of CFCs, and by 2050 we're planning a further 7%. And you say, no, these are crazy people, obviously. You know, there's a lot of arranging the deck chairs on the Titanic going on. But I think eventually that fluctuations, as the fluctuations become more violent, they will burst through, and political dialogues will start on various fronts. It's hard to say where it will come. For instance, you know, historians of the breakup of the Soviet Union can reasonably argue that what actually the hole in the dike there was the Chernobyl explosion. And that actually set off a series of thought, of awareness. People's minds changed. It was like a psychedelic drug, this radiation spreading through Soviet society, because they realized, my God, you know, this was a power plant. It was at ground level. It wasn't even a designed explosion. And 8 days after it happened, above Auckland, New Zealand, you could sample the radiation in the air. So there was a whole crisis of faith in the command economy, in everything. And this could happen, this will happen. The one thing you can be sure of is that the 90s will be shaped by the unexpected. Could be anything. A hot day in August in Mexico City and 1 million people die when finally all of these toxic levels come together as they potentially could. Or it could be a nuclear failure. Or it could be an assassination. Or it could be the outbreak of a synthetic disease. Or anything. You know, and what this will bring home to people is that the metastable nature of society is beginning to break down, that the shock waves of the future are building up. And what you know, in engineering an airfoil, engineers have to take account of what is called Q forces, vibration. If you don't design the airfoil correctly, as you approach the speed of sound, the wings of the airplane will be torn off. And so you have to redesign the airplane to move through this barrier. What we have to do is redesign the cultural airfoil so that we slip, what? What, you mean that it shouldn't support wrecking the third world? Pardon? No, see, I think that that kind of thing is like talking about closing air bases near Sacramento and whether Western civilization can survive the shock of this loss of jobs. We're turning into an information society, and managers are trying to meet the crisis, but if my faith rested with human managers, I'd be frantic. The main thing is that the design process is being imposed by nature itself, just in the way that a supersonic aircraft has its design imposed by nature itself. The nature of the medium is dictating the shape of the society that is coming into being. The main thing is to try to make this through with as little bloodshed and hysteria as possible. And it's a very hard call. I mean, looking at something like Bosnia, you know, the impulse to use F-18s to correct the problem is very great. And yet, you know, in the past, this has not brought joy and thanksgiving where it was used. And also the hubris of thinking that your job is to separate these people. On the other hand, we can't have people running around trading nuclear weapons in the red light district of Frankfurt, and which is going on. This is actually going on. There is a great potential for chaos on the Eurasian landmass right now.
It's time for you to have opinions of our own. This is WCTR.
I am Fernando Martinez. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's great to be back. Joe, you make the clapping sound effects a little bit too loud. That's my producer, Joe, everybody. She is a woman, not a lady, not a fox, not a chick, not a piece of ass, but a woman. Now listen, for those of you who say Fernando, he's like a dinosaur, he does not understand the modern world. He is an old relic of the bygone age. I like to point out Joe is a woman. More or less, therefore, Fernando, he has gone multicultural. He is very much of this century. I am famous for many things I have been in this life. Entrepreneur, singer, therapist, artist, disc jockey, philosopher, lover, corporate spokesman, martyr for justice and truth that lives in every man and woman's heart when I was unfairly imprisoned for entirely unproven allegations.
In short, I understand life and life, she understands me. I have been chosen to help guide you down these crazy rapids. After my show was taking off the air, now I am making money by talking about money, and making love by talking about politics, and also because I am the new man. No longer do I talk about grabbing the girl by the haunches, riding her like a pampas bull, and sating your every manly desire. No, no, no. Those days, they are gone. The medallion, she is off. The children, they have a mommy and daddy to look up to. And I am not making inappropriate remarks by letting my passionate gaze linger on Joe's remarkable form. Not for a second.
Oh, shut up.
You see, I take the classes, the awareness classes, the 21st century classes. Now I know I live a long time in ignorance. I feel so sorry for treating the women like pieces of meat. Now I treat the women like they are equal to me. Goddesses, it is not appropriate to tell a sexy lady that her curves make your loins turn to fire. Now you say something sensitive, like, have you considered an exciting career in microfinance? You are very smart. You see, these days, there is so much left that is unsaid, like lust. It's so good to be back, right, Joe?
Yes, yeah, it's great. We have a great show. Let's get into it, Fernando.
Listen, money talk time. The markets have been going up and down. Fernando has been watching the bond market especially. Very volatile, like a lit flare. Boom! And then gone. For your financial questions, let's go to the phones. Speak. Make sweet love to me. Talk dirty like you think Fernando has been a real naughty boy who needs a good spanking.
Yeah, wow. All right, well, anyway, Fernando, I love your show. You've really given me some fantastic stock and tax avoidance tips over the years. I wanted to know, how do you feel about the debt ceiling?
Listen, my child, I love ceilings. I love staring at ceilings. I love mirrored ceilings. I watched a lion hunt his prey, only backwards. A man grows old, but a lion grows distinguished. I am a lion. They put me in the cage, but I break free. You must break free of the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling is a ceiling I do not love. She is very delicate, like a barrier of skin that denotes youth passing into full womanhood. You must smash through it with turgid loins, no? No, absolutely not. This is not how we think now. This is the old Fernando. How we think now is the debt ceiling is an arbitrary barrier to a productive, integrated economy. If we cannot borrow, what have we become? We have become fools. These politicians, they should not play with the debt ceiling. You are going to end up in a lot of trouble and get slapped.
Okay, let's go to our next caller. She's really upset.
Hi, I can't believe what I am hearing. Who are you? What happened to the show Lean In?
Yeah, they kind of got canceled.
I don't want to hear about the stock market and politics. I'm a housewife. I want to hear four women prattle on, claiming to empower us by talking about celebrity rumors, sex, and shoes, while passively aggressively criticizing each other.
Listen, I feel for you. I am very sorry, woman. But I want you to listen to that chromosome.
Why would I listen to...
Precisely. Listen to this Y chromosome hanging up on you. You have two X's like a bottle of moonshine, and you make people go blind and crazy and feel terrible the next day.
Okay, Fernando, come on, that's enough.
Oh no, sorry, Joe. I'm sorry. I try. I make progress. I relapse.
Let's get to our first guest. Please welcome to the Fernando Show gubernatorial candidate, former teacher, and successful divorcee, Sue Murray. Sue, come on in. Sit down.
Good to meet you. Let's rub noses like Eskimo people.
Good to meet you. I'm so excited to finally be on your show.
That's a fantastic pantsuit you're wearing. A suit that looks like pants. You are a professional lady that does not show off the cleavage.
Thank you. Really, I think.
Let's get to it. The state, she is broke. The poverty, she is terrible. The people, they cannot afford a new cell phone every month. What do you think, Sue?
I think getting a woman in office is crucial. If I go through that door, I take everyone with me. I take all of the women of San Andreas with me. They'll all be governors if I am. That's how I want everyone to think of it. A door we're breaking through because you're voting for yourself in the shape of me.
This is a very big office. How will you feed all these women? And they will talk loudly? And some of the women, they are angry, and some they are bitter, and some they are catty, and soon everybody is menstruating at the same time. This is a problem.
Well, it's more of a metaphor. Listen, I've done a lot of thinking, and I've realized the only way for women to move forward is if we all start to think in exactly the same way.
Like ants, the hive mind.
Exactly. By all being the same. That's how we will be free. Listen, women finally need to make it through the door of the state capitol.
You are probably just going to spend a lot of money redecorating and looking through catalogs.
Fernando, we spoke about this. We know women have a legacy as problem solvers and can emotionally detach themselves from things. Well, I want to bring that attitude to running this state for everybody. Well, everybody I like and can talk down to like a real liberal.
Fernando has a question about education policy. A beautiful and fertile 28-year-old female teacher. She make love to a 16-year-old student. She get a slap on the hand. But a male teacher, he wants to educate a cheerleader in the ways of love. He is a criminal, serving a 15-year sentence and on a database for life. Many times, when Fernando was in class, he would look at the teacher and think, I would like to bend her over while she write algebra equation on the chalkboard. So sexy.
Fernando, equality. Remember equality. No sexism.
No. I have done it again.
What?
I am working through some things. Terrible things.
Well, we as a state need to work together. And to your question, firstly, it's not okay for anyone to take advantage of anyone else. Let's be clear about that. I was a teacher for many years, and no one ever took advantage of me. Being a teacher explains why I speak so loudly and talk down to everyone. Do you two understand? When you talk to fourth graders every day, you have to come down to their level. And that's sort of like dealing with normal people. Children are the future.
This is not possible.
No, children are the future, and that means the future is going to poop the bed. That's why I think I'm perfect to run the government. In government, you have to learn the rules of the game, then change those rules. It's about taking a good hard look at what we are glorifying in our culture, and then shutting down anything too many people find fun or funny. I mean, if people are happy, who's going to do the work? I encourage everyone to do their part to help me win this election, but also fight back against the big oil cartels.
I know. They have a stranglehold on this country, holding it hostage from behind, penetrating. Tears, but also joy from the tears, because oil and petroleum are a very sensible investment. People say, Fernando, you are a liberal guy. You go to the charity dinners and have a recycled bin full of champagne bottles. Fernando, how can you invest in the oil? Fernando is, how you say, a pragmatic guy. Fernando worry about old Fernando. Fernando, he knows the true liberal have the money and the guilt, and that is who I am, who I want to be, the rich hypocrite with the guilt complex, like you, Sue.
Listen, Fernando, I'm from a middle-class family that worked hard so that I could eventually marry an obscenely rich man, and then tell women out there to stand up, stop complaining, and make something of themselves. I believe in hard work.
You had a very public divorce, Miss Murray.
Yes, that was unfortunate. But I stood up for what I deserved in divorce court. Our legal system recognizes the contribution a spouse makes to the other's success. Excuse me?
Fernando not laughing. He, thinking you deserve more.
Yes, we do deserve more. I took 80% of my ex-husband's wealth. Like many women, I said one thing before we got married, then stopped doing any of those things afterwards, and acted indignantly when my husband got upset. And that ability to lie and change my mind makes me perfect for elected office. Now I'm ready to sign a contract with our great state and be your next governor, because I've proven I'm someone you can trust to break their word when it's for the best, and that's what we need in a leader. We should talk about border security.
Yes. Fernando was thinking about the gaping hole in our nation's security. We have to plug that hole. We're all exposed. Shut it tight.
Fernando.
Sorry, but it's a fact. We gotta plug the gap. But at the same time, we should allow some undocumented workers in for a party time. I know, Fernando became an American the courageous way, by outrunning the speedboat.
Well, we need to make sure we can pledge to our children and our children's children that they will have clean air to breathe, clean bottled water to drink, and most of all, that the rich will pay their fair share, which I compute to be about 82.5% of all future income.
So what you're saying, Sue, is you've made a lot of money, and going forward, nobody else will be able to.
Exactly. I'm very wealthy, and I'm making sacrifices. So the middle class will have to get on board, too. It stands to reason.
Does it?
Yes. If we want a fairer world, it stands to reason that you need a rich, impartial person to tell you how to make it fair. This is something Vinewood understands implicitly, and I'm going to take it across the state. Let's get back on track. I think we have a health crisis in this country, and people should have the medicine they need, like Proposition 208.
Yes, Fernando loves medical cocaine. I say, pretty lady, you look like you are not feeling well. I will help you. I have put a roll of medicine down there for you. Oh, yes. She's feeling much better now. Maybe you want to take it like a suppository. Poof.
Yes, okay. We have some people on the phone who have questions for Miss Murray.
Okay, line 8. Hello, you are on the Fernando Show with Sue Murray.
Yeah, hi. I'm a big sports fan, but it's gotten a little ridiculous, you know. The celebrities getting the best seats, and they come for free, and the stars don't try. They get paid millions of dollars and constantly go on strike. The food costs a lot of money.
Well, that's the true meaning of sport. It's about a shared experience of going broke together while watching a few drug addicts get insanely rich. That's America in a nutshell. I want to tax those rich people and make them think twice about what they did to get there in the first place.
Well, we better get a damn football team, because it's bad enough this city has no real identity except unhinged police and terrible TV.
Yes, violence is a real problem.
Fernando knows this very well. I give the guy in traffic the bird. He does not like the bird so much, I think, because he comes and kicks Fernando's door.
There are so many things that glorify violence. I saw this awful book at the store, Hitting Kids Works Wonders, by some ex-soldier called Alan McLean. I mean, you should never, ever, ever lay a hand on a child.
This is true. Don't touch that child. You will get in big trouble if someone is watching.
Now, you talked earlier about the debt ceiling. That's a big issue that is too often politicized. A lot of professional women in this state are hitting a glass ceiling.
The debt ceiling, the glass ceiling. Fernando is tired of all these ceilings. Ceilings aren't really ceilings. They're those fake ceilings in little squares, and you can hide things up there.
Okay. Well, we've got someone on the phone who really wants to talk to Miss Murray. It's author and parenting guru, Alan McLean.
Hey, I heard what you said about my book.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. McLean, but it's barbaric. Children should be coddled and never made to feel bad or actually respect authority.
I'll come over and hit your kid right now. Hell, I'll come over and hit you. You sound like you need a spanking by a Marine, and I'm the Marine to do it.
My goodness! I thought this was an intelligence station.
Is this what you would like, Sue Murray? Would you like this man who writes the book to spank you like a little girl and then hold you tight afterwards, his stubble on the nape of your neck, smelling of whiskey on his breath?
Well, What are you talking about? Never. Since I divorced my ex-husband and took all his money, I've pledged myself to a higher calling, public office and political correctness.
Keep telling yourself that, sister. Let's take another caller.
Hi, Miss Murray. I'm going to vote for you. I really appreciate how you reach out to the gay community.
Oh, you have the best parades.
I'm not gay. I mean, I wish I was. Anyway, listen, over 80% of marriages end in divorce. It's a historical fact. All women eventually turn into fat slobs.
Fernando is agreeing with you silently, but out loud he says, don't hurt people's feelings.
I mean, gay guys keep in shape at least. Well, most of them do. But wives? I don't think so.
Excuse me, what kind of shape are you in?
That's not important. I'm not the 400 pounds now, you know. I can almost see my penis.
A powerful bear who loves his honey.
Okay, let's go over here to line 5. Please, speak some sense.
Hi, you're on the air.
Hi, Mrs. Murray. Big fan. I'm voting for you. I really am.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I really want a multi-millionaire battle axe telling me how to live. It's no wonder politics sucks. The choice is between you, who give women a bad name, and a guy whose qualification for office is that he's great at jumping off of a train wreck.
We all know women hating women is the worst form of misogyny.
I don't hate you because you're a woman. I hate you because you're a rich idiot who thinks you're better than everyone else.
But you see what I have to put up with. Joe, you see? Women hate each other, try to bring each other down. That's men getting into their brains.
I love you, Sue. I love you when you get flustered, when you get sweaty.
You're a woman hater. I've had about as much as I can take. Goodbye.
I took the classes. I am a new man. I love all women equally.
Oh, yes, right, of course.
Sue, come back here. Sit on my lap. She's gone. Why does this keep happening?
Okay, I think that's pretty much all we have time for today.
I was just getting my emotional flow going. But okay, remember, the passion, she is back on The Fernando Show.
Finally, you can play video games without gameplay. Available on the iFruit phone, drone, and all overpriced tablets, it's DigiFarm. All the mind-numbing tedium of an agrarian lifestyle combined with the soul-crushing loneliness of the internet in a game truly worth 99 cents. DigiFarm. Finally, you're actually watching the grass grow under your feet, digitally.
I'm a tiny farmer. I click on buttons and watch plants grow. If I get bored, there's always the farmer's daughter.
It has an incredible sense of achievement. Buy sprites. Feel better about yourself. Do it again.
Awesome.
The Digi family of mobile games. It's a revolution in human interaction. It's a revolution in social.
Thanks to the internet, your husband or boyfriend is masturbating at least 5 times a day. It's a fact. 80% of relationships fail because women lure in men with lots of sex, then turn it off and get fat. He's going to cheat, and quite frankly, you deserve it. But how can you compete with strippers and porn stars? How do you learn what men really want? Isn't it time you attended some classes at Nightlight's Continuing Education? Nightlights offers courses that will teach you the techniques he's come to expect. Fulfill his fantasies without the messy divorce. Contact Nightlights today and sign up for classes such as Rotisserie 101, Advanced ATM, and Coming Out Swinging for beginners. Get your diploma in Double P. Contact Nightlights today.
Politics, news, entertainment, talk.
I just like all the information that you guys provide.
This is WCTR, radio that keeps Los Santos steering.
This is Chakra Attack, a new approach to Los Santos County integrated health needs, and I'm your host, Dr. Ray D'Angelo Harris. Let's all say that again. Be cleansed one, be cleansed all. It's time to wake up. It's time to sleep. It's time to wash that dirt out of your systems. It's time to be one. It's time to be one-on-one. It's time, my brothers. It is time right now. Time for my show. Welcome to this week's Chakra Attack with Dr. Ray D'Angelo Harris. And I am, as you have already probably ascertained by now, your host, Dr. Ray D'Angelo Harris. Have we ummed yet, Cheryl? Have we ummed?
Yes.
You heard me go?
Yes.
Well, I'll take your word for it.
Several times.
This is life. This is what we are giving you. So I'm giving you right now. I'm taking a break right now to give you this right here. Ooh, you You are one fine girl. I need your strength, baby. I need you here with me. Stay with me, girl. Be conscious of where you are. That's my producer, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Nurse Cheryl Fox. Cheryl, with me, girl. I need you. Hi, girl. I need you to go deep now. I need you to go deeper. Together now. Come on now. You out there too. If I don't feel you, you can't feel me. Come on, Cheryl, one more time. That is beautiful. Yes, we have all. Whatever you are doing, give yourself a big fat. Imagine one great wave of love, one great wave of joy, a great wave of spiritual clarity. Imagine it all up your thighs like a big sticky mess of love. Imagine your soul is like a bazooka. Boom! Or a balloon that a little innocent child sets free to the heavens. And the camera pans up as that balloon floats free and a swell of music plays as it soars to the heavens. Then it comes down in the ocean and a turtle eats it and it has internal hemorrhage and dies. You have killed that turtle. That's the wrong message you're sending. Don't set things free that are going to kill other things. You are attacking the world in the wrong way. Yes, you are. That's not the way to live. That is not the message to send. Like a python that's too big for your house, and you set it loose in a schoolyard with children. That python's gonna wrap itself around kids, and now you have caused a mess. That is not how we do it here, Cheryl. That is not the circle of life. That's the circle of life that leads to death. You hear me, Cheryl?
I hear you.
I know you hear me. Come on. Keep reaching for the heavens, and when you get there, be careful, as there's no oxygen in the heavens, in the upper reaches of the stratosphere, and you will die. I promise you, you will die. You cannot go to heaven as a human. You can only go to heaven as a damn angel. You hear me? You hear me? And that's why heaven is full of angels and not living, breathing people. Because people need oxygen and there ain't no oxygen up there. It's a bit like one of those self-pleasuring choking games where you make love to somebody, you put your hands around their neck. They have life, but then you choke the life out of them while you pleasuring them.
Oh, Dr. Ray, I like those.
Hey, most women love that.
I love it.
You get on top of a woman, you crush her sternum, you crush her rib cage,
yes.
You put your hands around her neck, and you're giving it to her and taking it away. You're giving life and you're taking life away at the same time. It's two things going on here. It's a hot and a cold. You know, you're choking, but you're giving life and feeling. Squeezing the love into them, but squeezing the life out. It's an in and an out motion going on here. You have just played the choking game. That's health. That's integration. That's what we are here to do every morning. Before we get started, we always that's a chakra attack. Hey, Cheryl.
Yes, Dr. Ray.
What'd I just say? What'd I just say one more time? What'd I just say? What I just say? You out there, what I just say? What did I just say? I said bang, bang, bang. No. That ain't the sound of me banging you.
Okay.
That's the sound of me attacking your chakra. We're bringing Western Street knowledge and Eastern spirituality together in a unified approach to contemporary integration. Such that the mind and body are one. Such that the ignorance and knowledge be one. Such that the sense and the nonsense be one. When you put sense and nonsense together, what the hell do you got? You got some bullshit going on in your mind. That's everything mushed together like a goddamn jambalaya. Peanut butter and ice cream, guns and butter, ants in your damn pants. It all makes sense because you eat peanut butter and ice cream, you're going to get diarrhea. And you're going to have ants in your pants.
Are they eating the butter?
They eating the shit. What do you think they eating? Ants eat your shit because you don't ate that peanut butter and that damn ice cream.
But do the ants do they crawl in your butthole?
No, they just eat the shit that's coming out your ass. When things don't agree with you, that's what I'm talking about. Now that's sense and that's nonsense together, and they do not agree with each other, and now they have merged and gave your ass diarrhea. We cleansing everything, mind, body, and your spirits. We going big. We going all the way. Nirvana, Pruda, Valhalla, Limbo. And this being Vinewood, Bimbo, Himbo, and Dumbo. Around the world and back again. You got a round trip, girl, to spirituality.
Okay.
A round trip.
Cool.
Okay?
Yeah.
This is a full set. It's something all-encompassing. Like a big compass which has everything in it. Not just a silly arrow that tells you which way to go north, but also a lot of other arrows that tell you other shit, like which way to the liquor store, or if some fool is getting fresh, or if you are at one with all mankind. A karma compass that tells you street shit and real shit, but also lots of other arrows, a whole bunch of arrows in that damn compass. You know
that's just, isn't that a GPS?
No. You're thinking about navigation, that kind of shit in your car.
Yeah, the liquor store.
No, but see, that's where you're wrong. You ain't in the car. You're navigating on foot. You understand? Now, I don't know what app you got, but your mind is an app. Cheryl, you are a damn app.
Wow.
You floating! You are floating, girl! Now say and you float and rise yourself off the ground right now in front of all these people on the radio.
Okay, all right.
I want to see you better rise off the ground. Defy gravity right now.
Okay.
Cheryl just rolls off the ground. She just rolls off the ground.
I'm still on the ground.
She is floating on her spirituality right now.
You're not being honest.
You understand? She is floating right now. This is a karma compass, everybody.
Okay.
That tells you street shit and real shit. It's like one of them sensors that tell you if there are aliens crawling in the ceiling and they are getting closer and you freaking the hell out because you are like, this alien gonna drop through this ceiling tile and whoop some ass. Right, Cheryl? That damn alien gonna come through that ceiling and whoop some human ass. While the men is fighting the aliens, the women are in the corner crying.
That's not really fair, but...
It's not fair. But that's what happens in the movies. That's exactly what happened. You hide in the corner, or you try to run, and you trip.
Okay.
Right? Not black women, but white women do trip. I'm sorry. I had to go there with you, but I gotta go there. I had to pull a race card out. That's what happens. You sit in that goddamn corner, and you start to scream and cry, and while the aliens are killing your man, you're sitting there crying. Then they take you up to space, and they impregnate you. You understand what's gonna happen to you? They're gonna take you up there, and they're gonna do it to you. They're gonna do it to you good. They're gonna do it to you with their alien prong. You understand? That's how they do it. And that's why you got to get the spirituality in your body right now. Come on now. Today, it's all about empowering the ladies. Spiritual things come in threes. A three-parter. Only not sleaze and no crossing swords and no worrying about if it's right or wrong or if you enjoyed it too damn much, because you're supposed to enjoy every last bit of it, Cheryl.
Yes.
Do you enjoy every last bit of it?
I enjoy most of it, yeah. I don't know about the aliens taking me to bed.
You don't know if you're going to enjoy that because it hasn't happened yet. You have no idea what that alien got in his alien pants. You understand? No one knows what kind of slong an alien has. You don't know that, Cheryl, so don't speak on it before you know what the hell you're doing. Because you're supposed to enjoy it all. Every last bit of it. All life should be enjoyed. Right, Cheryl? Mm-hmm. You're enjoying life, right?
Yeah, I love my life.
You go to those music festivals and take Molly and listen to some old-ass has-beens play a 25-minute version of a song. 25 damn minutes of the same damn bullshit you done heard before. Patchouli and nitrous, am I right?
I love camping and being in nature, like next to my car, 50,000 other people getting spiritual, sucking on balloons, Dr. A. And then when you wake up, you're in some people's tent and you have no idea what happened.
That's right.
I love it.
Spiritualness It's all about wherever you get your core energy.
Yeah.
Getting a train in a campsite with absolute strangers while high on hallucinogens? Don't matter if you're black, white, yellow, old, young, or a bit of every damn thing. Blind, crippled, and crazy. That is a path to true enlightenment. You will know a lot about yourself after you get on that damn train with a blind, crippled, and crazy person. That damn train start rolling, somebody gonna yell out, all aboard!
Yeah.
You getting spiritual.
Yes.
Now, talking of journeys, every last bit of this crazy journey we are on is called getting respected by any means necessary. I take pride in what the hell you looking at, because that lets me know what the hell I got. You see, Cheryl? Enjoy the view. Enjoy the view. There's a horizon over there. There's mountains, and there's peaks, and there's valleys on that body. You understand? Share the women, but just don't leave no stains, because that ain't nice. You don't leave a stain on a man's lady. Oh, is that nice, Cheryl?
No.
Is that nice, Cheryl, for you to get on top of another man's woman and leave stains and don't go to that restroom and get you a towel and wipe her off?
It's not. That's very it's unsanitary, and it's not nice.
It's very unsanitary. You have stained me. Because every time I make love to my woman, all I'm thinking about is what, Cheryl?
The stain that...
That's what I'm thinking about in my mind. I can't get aroused if I'm thinking about the stain that man left on my lady. Let me take a breath. Let me breathe now. I am Dr. Ray D'Angelo Harris, and I'm your spiritual guide, Los Santos. I'm a registered health practitioner with an international recognized degree. I'm a trained yogi who can suck both his big toes at once. I'm an expert in cleansing, a devotee of colonics, and a wise man. You know what colonics are?
Yeah.
What do colonics go through?
It goes to your butthole.
Oh, your ass. It goes to your ass, Cheryl. I'm a compassionate lover and a fierce warrior all at the same time. Sometimes I'm a warrior and compassionate at the same time. They don't know where I'm coming from sometimes. A lady's laying there on top of that bed confused because she don't know where I'm coming from. I'm like a pitcher throwing a curveball or a slider. You understand? You don't know what's coming because you ain't the catcher. You see? See what I just did? See how I did that? I went into your head and took you to a baseball game. Mm-hmm. You understand? I am a compassionate lover and a fierce warrior. I spoon, I fork and knife, and that's what the chakra attack is all about. Love making sometimes mean you need to wrestle or howl like an animal. Oh! Oh! Anyway, let's go to the phones. Speak, my child. I love you with all that I have. Take what you want of me and leave me spent.
Hello? Hello?
Speak up, homie.
Hello? Hello?
Oh, for land's sake. Sure, give me a better call screener. God was a fool. He had me on mute. Who the hell puts Dr. Ray D'Angelo Harris on mute? You kidding me? You disrespecting me? Seriously, woman?
Ray, chill the hell out. You're on the radio. I'll light some incense. Calm.
I am calm, but I'm also angry. That is a duality. That's what Dr. Ray D'Angelo Harris is all about. Duality. Duality. Do you understand, woman? I can't be understood by you, right? I'm talking a foreign language to you. I'm amazing, you understand? Just give me another caller and stop playing the woman card with your unshaven legs and pierced nose and disdain look for everyone else. Yeah, you do. You have a disdain look for everybody in my universe. Seriously, I can read your mind and you're wrong. You're dead wrong, okay? Who we got? Caller, speak.
Hi, Ray. Big fan of the show.
Back at you, brother. Big with cheese on top. Organic cheese as well, like from a cow.
This is so exciting. I knew I was going to get on this week. I really did. Dr. Ray, I think I'm psychic. Can I be a guest on your show? I know the answer. I know the answer is no because
you're batshit crazy nutcase, locked up in some loony bin, and you call me every week. You call every damn week, run your phone bill up, talking that bullshit.
It's not It's not a loony bin, Dr. Ray. It's a high-security mental institution. I never got convicted of a crime. I'm very thorough about DNA cleanup. I'm a spiritual being, Dr. Ray. I'm just like you. Damn it, Dr. Ray. You're not oming with me.
I feel your pain, my brother. We are all one, but some of us are also two. And that's that. Bye now. Cheryl, keep that freak off my goddamn show. Talking of freaks, did I ever tell you about some nasty twins named Tammy and Sammy who have restraining orders against me after some hot yoga got out of hand? Hot yoga started and it went out of control. Weren't my fault. Damn women, it's 120 degrees. I was getting spiritual. Cheryl knows I act out when I think I'm gonna die. Oh, I'm a terrible fright on a damn airplane. You gotta see me fly. Oh, I'm terrible.
It's true, they have to scramble the jets.
Listen, we get into turbulence, I'll grab a titty. That's the first thing I'm thinking about, because that's where my mind goes sometimes. If you're gonna die, I'm gonna go down in a fetal position. Fetuses want titties. I ain't sucking no damn thumb. I'm going out the same way I came in. Everything in the universe is about two. And that again is the duality. When one becomes two, problems can arise. I am very clear about this in my book. Cheryl, what's the name of the goddamn book?
When One Becomes Two, Problems Can Arise, a study in duality by Dr. Ray D'Angelo Harris.
There you go. There you go. Many are called, but few are chosen correctly out of a police lineup. I choose you, caller. Speak to me. With me.
Hey, man, I'm calling you from jail.
Dad? Is that you? Hello? Daddy?
No.
You know you don't know who your dad is.
I know that one day he's going to hear me on the radio and realize the spiritual mistake he made and come back, and we're going to enjoy all the things a father and son should do. Fishing, bike riding, 3 ways, going to a farmer's market, beekeeping, organic honey, knitting, a dad and his boy. You know, knit 1, pearl 2, all that shit. Gangster style. Blah, 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 blah. And I can say, Dad, I made you a sweater. And it won't fit very well, but he will wear it proudly. And if any man challenges him, he will say, I ain't no sissy. I ain't no damn sissy. My son made this for me, and he is Dr. Ray D'Angelo Harris, host of Chakra Attack on WCTR. Who are you screwing with?
Hey, man, are you gonna get to my question?
Oh, I'm sorry, my brother. I went deep. I went too deep. I went 6 feet under that time.
I shoved the phone up my ass and smuggled it from Gym Pop just so I can call your show.
Oh, you poor man.
Cheryl loves a conjugal visit.
Listen, I'm in here for a real bullshit charge.
What is it?
Triple homicide, total accident, but they deserved it. Anyway, I'm in a spiritual hole.
We can help you get out that hole, brother. You in a deep hole. I gotta put my hand down there and pull you up. Cheryl, get my soul shovel. I'm about to dig this fool out of this chakra hole. Have you fallen down a well, brother? I will pull you out and we can drink of that water together, even though you have most likely polluted the groundwater. Like you've been fracking yourself rotten.
I'm really into Zen and Omen and yoga, and I want to get married to a woman who will be there for me when I get out in 2025. We can have a baby while I'm in prison. One inmate told me you can smuggle your own baby batter out if you hold it under your tongue and exchange it with a family member in the meeting room. Anyway, I know I've made mistakes. I want someone I can grow old with and brutally murder in our golden years.
I think you need some body whispering. Dr. Ray D'Angelo Harris is a spiritual body whisperer. Many of you might ask, what are you doing? I'm humming. Why are you making that noise? It relaxes myself and the ladies. You see, it's a scientific frequency that lulls the ladies into a relaxed spiritual place where the brain shuts off and the thighs go into overdrive. Mind off, body on. It's like trying to start a car. That mind is the battery. That battery is drained and dead. But the engine's good. Right? You understand, Cheryl?
Yeah.
I can teach you how to get that frequency, but you have to buy my book and my call. You know how duck hunters have a call they blow on that attracts ducks so they can shoot them like stupid-ass sitting ducks? That's where that term comes from, a sitting duck. Because that duck's sitting there, right? He heard that call, and he sat there and got his ass shot. Boom! feathers everywhere. Well, I have developed a bird call that attracts women. It's called the Dr. Ray D'Angelo Harris Spiritual Fine Lady Soothing Call to attract women. It's shaped like a sausage, and trust me, it looks a bit strange. But blow it and you'll see. Walk out on your cul-de-sac or at the PTA meeting and blow on that thing and women go mental. Believe me. And sure, you have to blow on the sausage, but while you're blowing on the sausage, you want to... Hell, I had a whole yoga studio full of fine women all over me when I blew that sausage-shaped horn. It was like one of those medieval shows on cable, only we didn't have a dwarf or a yak skin for a blanket. Some ignorant fools will say, are you really humming on that sausage? No, I'm cleansing myself. Like wheatgrass on your radio. That's how you cleanse yourself.
But wheatgrass tastes awful.
It tastes awful. Of course it does. But a sausage-shaped horn does not. You understand? The wheatgrass through your radio is a metaphor. It's a figure of speech. You understand? You are a terrible liberal woman. Bad liberal. I bet you don't even give to public radio.
No way. Why bother? It's so patronizing. It's like being spoken down to by a beggar.
You have to give yourself and your money to public radio. You understand? Do I have to break this down to you, woman? Shut your mouth. That's public radio you talking about. I am for profit, but many are not. You are barely talking on this show. How am I supposed to teach you the ways of broadcasting, the ways it means, what I means? Your comment is getting shot off to hell.
Oh, relax, Ray.
I cannot relax, girl. I am not into relaxation. Relaxation is weak. I want to be hit. I am strong. Hit me, Cheryl. Hit me with the rain stick, Cheryl.
Oh, not this again. I really don't understand how hitting you with a rain stick is helpful.
Turn that upside down. Hear those soothing sounds? That is from Australia. And you blow into it.
Isn't that called a didgeridoo?
Whatever! Hit me with a stick! I'm a piñata! I'm not a piñata! You hear me?
Why are you obsessed with piñatas?
Because that's life, Cheryl. You either is one or you isn't one. And sometimes you both is. And you isn't. Ain't you learned nothing? If you would focus on your damn chakra for half a second, all would become clear to you. You can hang yourself in the public square and let people hit you with sticks till candy and coins drop out your ass. Or you can sit on the mountaintop and it's simple. I like both. So we got all these lines lit up.
Let's go to line 4. This guy is really spiritually constipated. He's got an ass full of candy. Let's hit him with one of the big sticks of love.
My friend, what's up? Free yourself. Breathe deep.
Yeah, that's bullshit what you said about coconut water.
Don't you go disrespecting coconut water. That's the nectar of the gods. From places that are mad spiritual. With cave paintings and baking sun and drum circles and heat stroke and where you can swim with dolphins. Dolphins! And communicate with them. Swim with them and communicate with the dolphins. Dolphins are delivering babies, you punk ass.
I heard the dolphins molest people.
Where you hear that, woman? TV? That damn anti-spiritual booty box will suck the life out of you in a minute. Make your whole innards glaze over like someone threw your soul into an oven all covered in egg white. Like this coconut water food right here. Ha ha ha. Listen, my friend, I just drank some and I'm significantly more hydrated than you. I'm hydrated. I'm a whole lot wetter than you. People in tropical locations are never thirsty. They've discovered the miracle of coconut water. Crack, crack, and you fill your glass up. Now, each coconut maybe contains 6 ounces of coconut juice. Now, if you got a 16-ounce glass, you're going to want to break 2 coconuts and hydrate yourself. Or you chop it up and sprinkle it on a coconut cake. You understand? It's called coconut flakes.
Listen, the next big thing is going to be potato water. People in Ireland are already working on it when they're not brooding over cigarettes. Potato water is going to be huge.
Isn't that vodka?
No, in no way. It is the unfermented water from a potato. All moisture should come from nature and be available in easy open containers. Coconuts are too hard to open. Nature tells you when it's wet and engorged and ready for you to drink. You press a potato, you get a beautiful fresh juice, which is just like orange juice, only better. I've also been trying cactus water, but I impaled myself.
Oh, I get you. I hear you. Let's bring it together, my brother. Right? We had crosswords, but now let's make two become one. The duality is back. You understand? We are one now, my brother. I'm upset. You upset. My belly bubbling, and I gotta take a crap. You gotta take a crap. My nose running with snot. Your nose running with snot. You feel me? Like when you have multiple universes in a comic book. We're all part of one universe now.
Thank you, Dr. Ray.
Nature has all kinds of water. Sometimes you're thirsty in the desert, you can grab one of those land mammals and squeeze water clean out of it. And sometimes I get so into hydration that I let animals pee in my mouth.
Ew.
I do.
That's really gross.
Yep. I just love me some organic water. Now, in previous shows, we've talked about factory farming and how those chemicals have ruined everyone's health. You gotta only go organic. Shit is expensive as hell, but the females love it. I hold a head of organic broccoli out the window and chum for them hippie girls. Don't I, Cheryl?
You sure do.
Let them hear it. Let them hear it.
It's terrifying. It's also terrifying that it works.
Terrifying is right, girl. You know how many intimate unions I've had in the Grain of Truth's parking lot? I'll be ripping off yoga pants with my teeth. Who we got next, Cheryl?
Line 7 wants to talk about honey.
Dr. Ray D'Angelo, I want all your listeners to know, stop eating honey. My family, we don't even use honey products, or conflict honey, as we call it, because honey is made under oppressive circumstances. Bees are kept in servitude and sexual bondage. They're like flying veal. And what's worse, male honeybee genitals explode after sex.
Exploding genitals? Damn! I learned how to do that from an ancient Tibetan dude in the mountains when I was over there for a 3-month spiritual journey. Well, there was no fast food, so it was pretty damn emotional. I told this ancient dude in the hills, I said, I recycle. I give to public radio and eat organic. But there's an empty part of me that wants a high fructose corn syrup soda, a big-ass factory farm steak, and to slap hippie girls on the ass and treat them like crap instead of putting up with their neurotic drama and dreadful taste in music. Hippie drama is the worst drama there can be. And this dude, he was spiritual as hell. Know what he said to me? Know what he said, Cheryl?
What did he say?
He said, you have to buy the right books. Listen to the right music. Listen to the girls, hippie drama, and dig down deep inside yourself and like a mofo. And I did. I did, Cheryl. Until my mama threw me out the damn house. And here I am. That was my time in Tibet. At least I think it was Tibet.
Are you sure it was Tibet?
Oh, I don't know. Some darn place with hills and sheep and everyone singing in choirs and all inbred, and they played a lot of rugby. Things like that. Tibetan stuff, you know. It was real cool. Played some Tibetan rugby, ate some cheese on toast. Real Tibetan style, too, with legs all crossed. For real. Anyway, let's wind down the show with the final yoga pose of an intense session, Savasana.
It's actually Shavasana.
Shavasana. Don't correct me. I'm a yogi woman.
Yes.
Shavasana.
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 I know Shavasana. Or corpse pose. Cheryl, join me. Come here on the Big Ray yoga mat, girl. Lay down like a corpse, like you dead as a doornail. Lay there like you just got shot or died on a finger food voyage gone astray. I love me fresh corpse. It's so relaxing. You relax with me out there. You relax, Cheryl? You look stiff. Corpse aren't stiff, you understand?
Okay, I don't really know what all of this means.
Shh. Stare at the ceiling and shut up.
All
Think
right.
empty thoughts. Clear your brain.
Yeah?
Like, go in your head right now. Close your eyes. Go in your head. Get a whisk broom. You know what a whisk broom is? You'll see a barber on TV, and after you cut your hair, he whisk broom you off. Your hair off your body.
Yeah.
Take a whisk broom and whisk your brain out your head and clear your thoughts.
Okay.
Like, do it now. Do it now. Clear your brain of all them damn thoughts.
Yeah.
You feeling empty now?
Yeah.
Is your brain empty?
Yeah.
Now let's go. Man, I am so empty right now. Like I got a colonic in my brain stream. Like I crapped the crap out of my brain. Hit the outro music.
This has been another episode of Chakra Attack with Dr. Ray D'Angelo Harris.
Shit, ouch!
Your hands to yourself.
Don't ever do me that way, woman.
This is Weasel News.
Los Santos cemeteries are renting out space for music festivals and raves.
Can Prop 208 save a local medical marijuana university?
It's the only real estate in town left with any authenticity. And that's the exact reason cemeteries are renting out space for weddings, birthday parties, and product launches. Partygoers say it puts things in perspective to face death at every turn.
Sound effect. First it was medical marijuana. Now medical cocaine is on the ballot in the next election. And it is Prop 208 that a local medical marijuana university is hoping will keep it from shutting its doors. The dean had this to say.
Just like harvesting medical marijuana, making cocaine is a spiritual process, often involving organic elements like coca leaves, water, cement, and super unleaded gasoline.
Officials hope that more narcotics universities will spring up, teaching future generations useful knowledge, not irrelevant things like science and math. This was Weasel News.
Real talk, real issues, real experts. Patronizing. Real patronizing. WCTR.
It's the Chatosphere with Michelle and Laszlo.
Hi, I'm Michelle Makes.
And I'm Laszlo.
And this is Chatosphere with Michelle and Laszlo.
God, I just love doing that.
Me too.
So, anyway, on today's show, we've got some amazing stuff.
We have a co-host who is not accepting the reality of their contract.
Come on, Michelle, let me do the intro, okay? I'm really good at it. I know how to monologue. Seriously, I talk to myself a lot. You know, sometimes I just stand in front of the mirror with no clothes on and say, you like this? You want some of this? And
I know. I get it. You're an adult loser. You're pathetic. Every show you do this. No, I'm sorry. You know the rules. Sorry, everybody. See, we're Vinewood liberals. We love each other, but we've got massive egos, so we can't quite get along.
My ego was shattered long ago. You know, it was called the 80s, but I picked up the pieces and glued it together with bourbon and acting out sexually with not that very attractive of a woman, okay? So speak for yourself.
I'm speaking for the show, dictard. Chatosphere, hosted by me, Michelle Makes, with sidekick support work from you until your contract runs out and you can be let go, Mr. Laszlo. I don't have a surname.
Every week. You rub my face in it every goddamn week.
Because every week you act like I'm not here and it's still one of your countless previous shows that didn't work out and yet somehow allow you to fail upwards. Man, you must have some amazing pictures of whichever executives you're blackmailing.
Listen, if you're gonna fail up, I always say. And you're not even being fair.
Fair is you calling me a bitch?
That was once.
Or stealing my jokes?
That was twice.
Or interrupting me?
I don't interrupt you.
Or you just did it again.
I know, it's a joke. The reason men interrupt women all the time is because you yammer on and on.
Oh yeah, women, they talk, and you do the math. Really funny, misogynist. Make me out to be a shrew so you can attack me. That's the easiest trick in the book. This is the 21st century, Laszlo. We're all equal now. Every right-minded person in this city knows that, and still you've got gender issues. The fact is you hate women.
I love women. Michelle, come here. Listen, we're off on the wrong foot. Let me rub your back. Oh my God, is that a mole?
Ew, get off. Don't rub my back. Besides, you're only a liberal because your job depends on it.
Don't be mad at me because you've got moles. You should get that checked. And I'm a liberal because you have to be in the entertainment industry. I'd much rather be chewing tobacco, grabbing my nuts, mistreating women, wearing a wife-beater shirt, drinking gin, huffing Freon. I'm the real deal, Michelle. The real deal. My fans know it. When I work out, I do it for the fans. When I'm pumping iron, looking at my pecs, I go, the fans want these pecs. I got a TV show, a radio show. I'm everywhere. I'm on a billboard. I'm in bathrooms. Then one idiotic program director on a rinky-dink talk network says that I don't attract the youth demographic. Well, that's because they're all high. So now I'm saddled with a 22-year-old microblogger with typical millennial issues as a co-host.
Host!
Whatever.
You're the co-host of Chatosphere, the right-minded, left-thinking, progressive entertainment talk show for all of Los Santos and Blaine County.
Oh, you just love saying that, don't you? My name's Michelle Makes. God, you're like a parrot that sits on the shoulder of a pirate.
You hate women, and you won't stop quoting those dragon brain fantasy novels.
I like saying winch, even if it is from 1402 and there were dragons flying around upside down.
Ugh, enough of your Renaissance fair speak. You're ridiculous. We have an incredible show today. Who have we got? Let me see. Brother Adrian. He runs the Children of the Mountain, that study program you keep hearing advertised.
That is a cult. Why do they always give me the cults to interview? God, I'm doomed. You want to do a show in this market, it's cults and whack jobs and fake boobies everywhere.
You're so judgmental.
I'm not talking about yours. They're tiny fake. I mean, it's cute. I'd like to put little army men on them and they could have a little battle and I'd take pictures and put it on the internet.
That's disturbing.
It's awesome. It's pretty sexual.
No, please, keep describing my rack. It's really doing things for me.
Okay,
You host a singing contest and work on a celebrity and liberal talk show. The one thing you're not meant to have is opinions.
Don't be mad at me because you've got hairy nipples.
What are you talking about?
I've seen them. You know what? You do the show. You're obviously so much better at radio than I am. What, have you been on the air for 6 months?
I love it when you sulk. I feel like your mother. Anyway, we have a great show. Before Brother Adrian, we're going to speak to a few of your favorite stars, everybody. Actor Jimmy Boston will be on the phone. Tyler Dixon, Milton McElroy. Then we'll take some calls, discuss the issues affecting Los Santos, entertainment, politics, health. It's going to be a great show.
Yeah, there's nothing like liberal politics in Vinewood to get people excited. Listen, everybody, since I started endorsing a hybrid, I really feel like an expert on green issues.
That's great. I saw the commercial. It's just so powerful.
Oh, thanks, Michelle.
I love you, Laz. Is he on the phone? He is? Great. Here's someone we all really love. You are really wowing us with your new show. Jimmy Boston, how's it going, Jimmy?
Yeah, everything's going great. It's a great show. Really great. I told my agent I wanted something serious and character-driven, but that also shows I've got great abs. So yeah, Lifeguard 3D is a fantastic career move.
That's just great.
Yeah, movies are overrated. TV, it's where it's at. We'd love to get you on my show. Maybe you could come on and sing with me like a duet. Man, it's so great that you're doing something more meaningful. Jimbo, you know, we could grab a drink sometime, hit the town. I know some amazing underground clubs where celebs like me and you hang out and finger groupies.
Thanks, Laszlo. Thanks a lot. Listen, you're a cool guy. I love how you do that whole radio host thing. Really funny stuff. Normally, ugly guys sort of act all shy, but you've got lots of personality and you're really funny, I think. Anyway, glad you love the show. Peace. Kiflam.
Oh, not another one. These Absalon guys are taking over.
I think he blew you off there, Laz. That's a bromance you're going to have to let slide. He didn't even want you to be a cameo on Lifeguard. Your career could be out swimming and get into trouble and need rescuing. You've got no friends, Laz.
Please, I would be amazing on that show. I would totally wear a banana hammock. I've got friends, Michelle. Lots of friends. And we all hang out in banana hammocks together.
Wow, sounds amazing. I'd love to get involved. You have friends? Call one.
I would totally rotisserie you.
Ew! Oh, I feel soiled.
It's fun. You should try it. And you know what? Maybe I will call one of my friends. Look at this address book on my phone. Packed with friends. Look, it's my friend Reed. Maybe I'll call Reed, but later. People don't want to hear from my friends. Man, I was out last night partying. Good times. Bottle service. Well, I mean, I snuck the bottle in, but God. And there's nothing like taking advantage of a lonely divorcee from the Midwest while she quietly weeps to let you know that you're a star. I'm on television. The chicks love it.
You really are a man. That made me very sad. That entire monologue was, well, it was disgusting. And she's probably crying because it was over in 60 seconds.
Who cares? I got mine. I busted a nut.
Please don't use that black scent again. And you really hate women.
Ball all you want. Sorry Mother Nature made your private parts so tedious.
Ugh.
Anyway, we've got another celebrity calling in.
Someone you can really relate to. An actor and a reality TV star, Tyler Dixon. Hey, Tyler, how's the new show?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm just really loving the new show. I mean, it's really different because it's a reality show, but, like, I'm already famous. So it should be really interesting and different. So it's kind of like starting on season 2 of most shows, which is sort of amazing.
That's just great. And any movies, or are you waiting for the right role?
Yeah, I really want a big dramatic role. One I can sink my teeth into. Something about character, with a volcano or something where I could be like a superhero.
What have you done?
I'm tired of his blathering. Volcanoes. This whole town is deluded.
I love the idea, though. A new kind of reality show about famous people. That's going to be the best of both worlds.
Oh, it sounds fantastic.
Don't be sarcastic. You're just bitter because they didn't offer it to you.
Let's go to the phones.
Yeah, we want to hear from you out there about what's going on in your Los Santos.
Hey, I can't believe what you guys said last week about award shows. I really love them. The interesting speeches, actors rattling off names of people you've never heard of that they blew to get the job, movies you'll never watch that win the prizes. I love award shows. They make me cry.
Award shows are really fantastic. I mean, the Pop Video Awards, so relevant, so controversial.
Yeah, fantastic. Nothing like giving each other plastic statues to help elevate art. Next caller.
Hey there, I'm Simon. I'm a big fan of the show. Now listen, I just wanted to share with everyone, you don't need to spend all that time working out. I found a perfect solution, okay? I got pec implants, six-pack implants, calf implants. Shoot, I'm perfect.
You hear that, Michelle? Why do I need a bisexual Austrian personal trainer to shout and debase me, hold me to the ground, tell me that I'm worthless, all sweating on me?
Who wants to share sweaty equipment or get disgusting fungus? Share showers with strangers? What, are you nuts? I don't want Hong Kong foot or ringworm. I found the perfect fail-safe solution. Surgery.
Thank you.
That's a guy after your own heart, Laz. Idiotic and superficial. Oh, we have a caller for you. Says his name is Reed.
What's up, Laszlo?
Hey, buddy.
Just to be clear, Laszlo, we're not friends. I defriended you years ago from all of my social networks.
Wow, you are a mess, Laszlo. Next caller.
Hey, Laszlo, that's offensive what you said about fantasy football.
You mean when I said it was for creepy perverts who run around the house in a jock strap, pecking away at a laptop?
Hey, I'm not a pervert. I'm just really into fantasy sports. I have a fantasy football team. I think about it for hours. Fantasizing we just won. We're in the locker room. Half the guys are nude. We're really pumped. We're taking a shower. And then... Okay, anyways, so what if me and my friends get together with our laptops and watch the game? It's really exciting. I love statistics.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You've decided to pump up the, tedium of watching sports and interject the nonstop laugh-a-minute fun of statistics. Listen, there's only one statistic I'm interested in, and that's how many hoes I've had. What?
Oh, you keep a running total on the wall? Really classy.
That's 3 digits, woman! Ha ha! One day you'll understand about conquest, Michelle. Speaking of, here's an interesting caller that wants to talk about conquests.
Hey, big fan of the show, but I got a question. What's the deal with Mars?
Well, it is the 4th planet from the sun, and its reddish hue is from iron oxide. This is your space moment of Chattersphere.
I mean, why do we have a dune buggy up there? I don't even have a dune buggy. Mars is bullshit.
God, man, I'd love to go to Mars or a space station, get some groupies up there, watch my DNA fly across at 0 gravity. It'd be amazing. I could start my own religion and an entire civilization of people bred from me. That would be great. I could see it. Me and a couple of hot Martian chicks.
You are revolting. So hypersexualized. Don't you know that we live in a new liberal age where we never say anything mean or crude? It's the new America, the one we've always wanted.
Hey, don't get me wrong. America's a great land. It proves you can conquer anything with booze and syphilis, and I've had both.
Hey, those colonizers caught syphilis in this country and took it to Europe. Serves them right for wiping out the indigenous culture.
Oh, here we go. The hippie lesson of the day. Culture smulcher.
And now Los Santos is just coffee shops, banks, and pharmacies. So cultured.
So we had to wipe out a few people. I need a bean machine coffee. I'm stressed. I love this town. You could be smug about the rest of the country and live in a vacuum pretending that there's an endless supply of revenue to just hand out to people and for new metro projects. Where we're obsessed about the environment, but people are dumping chemicals on their lawns so much that it gives their neighbors birth defects. I mean, this is a state that's got the worst carbon footprint in the world while everybody goes around pretending they like the outdoors. This is a proper liberal's paradise, man. And I worked hard to be king of this paradise, Michelle. I work hard, okay? Your younger generation, millennials, don't understand that. You just listen to your iFruit phone and do yoga. When I keel over dead from working, I want you to say, that Laszlo, he died of a broken heart.
Well, cocaine broke your heart.
Well, a bit of recreational snort never hurt anyone. Besides, the chicks love it. Anyway, all I do is Molly now. It's virtually a health food.
Let's go to the phones. Marshall from Puerto del Sol.
Hey, Laszlo, I take real issue with what you said about marching bands. They're brilliant. They're really erotic.
Marching bands with your matching Napoleonic costumes, turning rock classics and pop hits into garbage. Oh, look, I'm a toy soldier blowing into a tuba. Do you think a stadium full of drunks cares about your stupid song? We want to see bitches shooting t-shirts. Oh, look at me. I'm an adult in a marching band. Oh, boy. You need help, dude.
At least I'm not pretending to be someone half my age.
Good point, Marshall. He got you there, Laz. Speaking of lost souls who need a bunch of help, I think we have the perfect guest for you. Laszlo, introduce him.
Coming up on Chattersphere with Laszlo and Michelle.
Michelle and Laszlo.
That is what I said.
It's not.
Well, whatever. Let me speak. Getting saddled with a woman to appeal to more liberal listeners. I am liberal. Seriously. I've got a TV show, which makes me liberal. So shush, woman. Coming up next, what have we... not this again. God, I gotta take this producer out and piss on their head. How original. A cult leader in Los Santos. I mean, a promoter of alternative thought.
Coming up next on Chattersphere with Michelle and Laszlo, alternative therapy life coach, committed spiritualist, and senior lay preacher of the Children of the Mountain Fellowship, Brother Adrian. Brother Adrian, welcome to the show.
Hello, my child. My children, both of you. Welcome to the Now.
So good to have you on the show.
Yeah, it makes a real break from the whack jobs and crazies I normally interview. You know, our guest booker gets us celebrities, but the publicist makes us take these has-beens and won't-be's.
I'm not a psychic, Laszlo, but I am sensing a lot of hostility from you. You seem like you are in prison.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
And you know who the warden is, Laszlo?
Yeah, it's Michelle.
No, my child. It's you.
Oh, give me a break.
Yes, mock. Yes, deride. Yes, call me a whack job.
You're a whack job.
Call me a cultist.
You're a cultist.
Call me a pervert.
You're a pervert.
All right. I'm happy. You're miserable.
I'm not miserable. Okay, I'm in a career slump. There is a difference. Every time I really start to do well in a market, someone at the station goes whining to HR, and then I get moved to a new place, like a man of the cloth. Speaking of cloth, you're a cult leader, so of course you pretend to be happy because you say you have all the answers. You're selling people hope. Well, buddy, hope is a lie. I figured out all the answers, and believe me, life is a dark, horrible chasm of despair, punctuated by brief moments where you get beer and breasts. So trust me, people, you do not hope to be like this cult dude.
Children of the Mountain is not a cult or a religion. We don't believe in anything. We are a personal development community, using our unique knowledge of human spirituality and development to put you in touch with your true dimension in stages for a price.
What do you mean, Brother Adrian?
What I mean is this. Through literally weeks of dedicated study, I've discovered the secret to realising human potential, convention and seminar revenue, and utilising completeness. I can make you, and I can make the you that you are the best you in the whole galaxy of potential yous that are there. Life's a competition. It's a competition with yourself. Well, that's a competition you can win, and I will show you how.
Dude, I am 8 ways of not understanding this. Is this like a 12-step program? Why do people that quit doing stuff always have to tell everyone else? You know, I quit typing in "Granny wants it bad" into search engines, and I didn't need any program to tell me to stop that. It just took my mom walking in on me on my 31st birthday. Yeah, that's the true definition of shame. A mother's boy still struggling against adulthood, pants down, hot laptop on his thighs, things leaking out. I've brought shame on my family.
Shame is meaning. Believe me, when you have all of life figured out, it's your duty to share with others. And I share my message using a range of goal-oriented reprogramming techniques. It's about completeness and the opportunity that offers to people to realise a beautiful truth in a convention centre for a weekend retreat.
Give me a break.
I'm giving you the best break of all. The chance to live free of dogma and can't. It's a structured study programme. What have you got to fear? What is one weekend of your life?
Okay, I've been dragged into all kinds of bad situations with that line. I can tell you what one weekend of your life is. One where you wake up with a tattoo and a new wife that pees standing up. Besides, I just have this weird thing against new religions that are founded by tax accountants. Call me boring, but when it comes to imaginary friends, I'm strictly old-fashioned.
For the last time, child, we don't believe in anything. There are no secrets. Children of the Mountain is an accredited study program. Follow us and you'll be free from all belief. You'll be free from knowledge. You'll be free to share that with others.
What? This is lunacy.
Your hostility is really depressing, Laszlo.
You see clearly, Michelle. Laszlo, there's a mountain up there. Let me show you the way.
Listen, dude, I've been to the mountaintop, okay? I've been to a lot of concerts and done a lot of drugs. I've been up there, okay? I got a top-rated talent show on TV and a nationally syndicated talk show. I've been an anodyne metrosexual that literally millions of people look up to, and believe me, it sucks, okay? I believe in one thing only, my relentless ability to screw up. One stupid word, one inappropriate comment, one touch, and an innocent caress between colleagues, you know? And it begins again, the slow descent down. Your ratings come down a bit. The groupies, they start to get older and chunkier and have that weird fat girl smell. You appear in commercials for worse and worse cars, and suddenly you're not the spokesperson for an expensive Swiss watch, but for some swingers resort in Guatemala or a war zone. You're on the way down, so you get desperate. You do more and more insane things for ratings. You don't care, but it's no good. The public doesn't love you anymore. Nobody loves you. There's a great hole of lovelessness inside you. You're just a shell. Nobody cares. Your friends are more successful than you. They won't call you back. They don't even re-bleach you anymore. Your Life Invader friends start to go down. The private members clubs tell you that you're no longer welcome because you tried to speak to a movie star there. Well, I was a star once, okay? I was, but it's no good. It keeps going down.
It's okay.
It just keeps
my
going.
Child.
It's not okay. Your producer calls you up. Someone made up some pictures that seem to show you, being spanked in a brothel. That's not true. They could put my head on any dude's body. I'm much bigger than that. It's computers. There weren't any cameras in there, and then they start calling you a misogynist in the press and on Bleeder. It's not true. Laszlo loves women. I love women. They call me gay, and that's not true. Laszlo's a man. He has a man's needs. Only it still keeps coming. The great wall of shame and the self-loathing just flows on and on like you're on the ground and there's just a group of men urinating on you, but it's a hypothetical urination. Then one day your producer comes in and says, Laszlo, even though you've been a syndicated radio host for a long time and even though you're great, now you're gonna be the co-host.
The assistant to the host.
Shut up, okay? You won. You're perky. You're young. You look great. And I'm the assistant to the host of a woman with literally nothing to say.
I get it. You did a mountain of blow in the 90s. No one cares.
It was fantastic, okay?
I'm glad you had blow all over your nose for many years.
You don't have a catchphrase.
I don't need one. And nobody gives a shit.
I was big in the 90s. I remember .com, and we used to program computers like C:/ and HTTP 10 print hello 20 go to 10.
The Great Terror of Time is something we cover in our study program, my child.
Just leave me alone, all of you.
There. Sometimes from the valley, we can see the mountain through the clouds. That's what makes us its children.
I don't understand valleys or clouds. It sounds like a nursery rhyme.
Oh, you take a minute, Laszlo. Man. Listen, anyone saying the male menopause is a myth, just remember this moment, please.
It's very simple. You just work through a very cost-effective program and achieve limitless joy.
That sounds wonderful. Laszlo, stop crying.
I'm not crying.
Well, thank you, Brother Adrian. Your seminars seem very interesting.
Yes, very.
But I think we've run out of time on Chattersphere.
I love you, Michelle.
Oh.
This has been the Chattersphere with Michelle and Laszlo. This is Weasel News.
Construction has begun on the Canada to Los Santos pipeline.
New development in the I-Find streetcar scandal.
Canada has three things: really strong weed, boring ice sports, and pristine drinking water. Los Santos city officials have announced that the San Andreas aquifer is nearly dry and mostly polluted. So construction has begun on a pipeline that will bring Canadian lake water to thirsty residents here. A city official said, quote, quote, draining pristine wetlands has been brilliant for the environment here. So local governments in Canada who sold us water rights have a great future to look forward to.
Tech News.
The iFind streetcar scandal continues to worsen, with reports that alongside massive data theft, they have been instructing drivers to prioritize the download of sexy home photos and videos so they can monetize them online with paid advertising without the user's consent. The mood at iFind's corporate headquarters today was said to be pretty much the same as always. A bunch of nerds in shorts and flip-flops riding unicycles around and playing ping pong.
This was Weasel News.
Hard-hitting journalism, conjecture, and tons of filler. 24/7. WCTR.
This is Chakra Attack. We attack you and we are ready to attack all the negative things in your life like a car battery, leave you with only the positive. We remove the negative so you are fully charged and ready to drive down the great freeway of life. Bop, 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 bop. I'm coming through. I have some spiritual ass jumper cables and you are about to get some mind-boggling currents through your body. Man, I just love that metaphor. We are here to deal with your Los Santos County integrated health needs, and I'm your host, Dr. Ray D'Angelo Harris. Here with my producer, Nurse Cheryl Fawkes.
Hi, everybody.
Let's jibber and more jabber as your lips vibrate together. Damn, you feel that vibration? That's the cleansing vibration gene that shakes us all free like a wet dog. I woke up the other morning, all over the inside of my shorts. Be cleansed, Cheryl. May your barren womb be artificially inseminated with acorns and moss and all the good organic things that nature provides us to the squirrels to hide in there for the winter.
There are no squirrels in my vagina.
There are. Yes, they are. Sure they are. I ate acorns and moss and ferns until I was 10 years old. Foraging. When my dad abandoned me, I knew it was time to cleanse. I mixed hot sauce and lemon juice until I lost weight like a refugee. That's a cleanse. That's a cleanse. It cleans your bowels and your soul. Your soul come out your bowels, which in turn come out your ass, Cheryl.
Oh, stop making things up. I'm not barren. Who even uses the term barren? What are you, King James Bible?
I am Dr. Ray D'Angelo Harris, Bible of Duality. That's where I am, girl. Radio refugees, speak to me about your issues on the mind, body, and spirit, and your 401k plan. Who's next? I said, who's next? Wake up, girl. Come on now. Are you with me or not? You're not with me right now. Your mind is someplace else. Your mind is in the gutter.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend your duality, Dr. Ray. Line 5.
Now, girl, you slowed up now. Slow up a second, right? What'd you say to me? What'd you say to me?
I said line 5.
Was you disrespecting my duality? Was you? Because listen, I'm a spiritual being. If you want to push me, if anybody wants to push me, you'll find out there's a whole lot more to Dr. Ray D'Angelo Harris than a doctorate from a respected university and a string of successful books and a top-rated health show. If you want to go there, woman, you want a piece of me? If you want to party, huh? Because I know things. I know them. Dumb things. I know dumb things and dumb things know me, and therefore dumb things don't know that I know those things. So I know dumb things because dumb things is right in front of my face. I'll tell the audience.
Calm down, Ray. You're getting all angry again. I wasn't disrespecting your duality. It's the smoothie you made me. I'm kind of bugging out.
That's because it's Dr. Ray D'Angelo Harris Bug Out Smoothie with Spirulina, which is nature's PCP. I'm sorry, Cheryl. You know I love you. But sometimes you need to be yelled at. Cheryl, right now. Right now. Right now. Get that. Get it. Get it. I'm a catch. Don't do it on the air. Don't do it. Now look, I'm gonna catch it in my hand, and I'm gonna throw this in your mouth. Open your mouth.
Okay.
Open your mouth now.
Oh
no. You open your mouth. I'm gonna throw you my and my gonna go in your mouth. Open your mouth wide.
Okay. All right.
You catch it. You gotta catch it. You ain't catching the
Okay.
Catch it now. You caught it. That's what I want you to do. I still love you.
Can I let it go?
Yeah. Okay. I got you. Right? I love you. I still love you, friend. Even though you are a terrible, gothy hippie. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, she's so much, she's really opened up. That's what happens. Sometimes somebody gotta and catch it and throw it in someone else's mouth so they can Sometimes I cry all weekend. I love it. I just have so much to cry about. There, Cheryl. Be strong, girl. See, I need your strength right now. I don't need you on the air boo-hooing to all those listeners out there. You know what happens? They hear that boo-hooing, and you know what happens? It's contagious. It's a virus. Then everybody start boo-hooing and boo-hooing and boo-hooing, right? We are useless. Who we need?
We need the listeners.
No, the